Hey guys, Adam aka askcsradical here, and thank you for checking out this episode of the VCR Podcast. For more content, you can visit our Instagram at vcr.podcast. If you are looking for a video version of this podcast, you can visit my YouTube channel at csradical. And if you are coming from the YouTube channel looking for an audio version of the podcast, you can check us out at anchor.fm/VCR Podcast for all available platforms. Thanks for checking us out, guys, and let's get on with the show.
You have entered the realm of the VCR Podcast with your host, Fish,
They're just bastardizing our childhood and the classics.
Chris,
Nintendogs drove me. It's what makes me want to hurt people.
Radical.
People in general still bitch about everything. It still doesn't change.
Let the podcast begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the VCR Podcast, the only podcast that predicts itself in the moment the title is spoken. Adam aka askcsradical here with you guys. Chris and Vish with me. Inner gods. Jesus, I'm already all off the wall here. Internet gods be with us today because it doesn't seem to ever want to be. But we are here.
Seems like it does, and then it doesn't near the end.
Well, it is for about 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden, boom, everything just starts to go haywire.
And it's like,
The internet's like, this isn't quality content. Cut it off, guys. Cut it off.
I mean, are the gods wrong?
Never question the gods.
let's let our viewer decide.
So, Chris.
I
5
did say
stars.
viewer.
5 stars. Perfect.
Well, as long as he's happy, we're good. All right.
Wait, thumbs up.
Well, yeah. Depends on what you're watching it on. So we're going to have a bunch to talk about today, and by a bunch, I mean like 2 things, because actually for last week having so much stuff, there wasn't really that much. There's really one thing to talk about, and then we're going to bullshit about an hour, because something else might be coming soon with the PS5, so we figure we might as well waste some time just wishlisting the fuck out of it, so that'll be towards the end of the show. But as always, we are going to start off with talking about what we've been doing this week, and by the sounds of it, we may not have much to talk about, because I'll start and say that I did one thing. And that's it. And because most of it I spent doing more stuff for the channel. Obviously, the Trails of Cold Steel 3 review finally got done. A bunch of other little small stuff, but one game I have played, I've kind of put XCOM aside. I think I finally got to a point again in that game where I just kind of hit the mark where I'm like, okay, this is getting too difficult. Now it's just throwing way too much, and now I'm bored. So I ended up picking up Infamous Second Son, which had been free a long time ago, and I just kind of ignored. And I just finished that last night, so I was relatively okay with it. Like, it was like, I'm not going to tell you it's anything like to go, oh my god, you need to get this right now. It's more just, hey, it was a good time sink for about 20 hours. So good open world game, had some fun, blowing shit up and smacking the shit out of people, and yeah. Story was kind of shit though, to be honest.
Oh, was it?
Well, the first 2 are really good.
I
really enjoyed the first one.
I don't hate it, but I think the most important aspect of it is always your villain, and the villain at the entire game feels like, oh, I can't wait to punch this bitch. I can't wait to punch this bitch. And then you get the reasoning for why she's doing what you're doing, and you're like, what?
So you didn't want to punch her anymore?
I still did.
Oh, okay.
But it was like, there was no cause or anything?
Well,
or
no, like she's evil, but then it's like, it plays the card of, well, she's evil, but for a good reason, but then she still did evil shit. It's like, she basically enslaves all the conduits, which are all the people with powers. But she said she's doing it because she doesn't want them to be killed off or mistreated. I'm like, so you locked them up and experimented on them and did horrible shit to them. How is that saving?
That sounds worse than what they were originally being planned to do.
Again, they don't really explore it because they literally shove this right at the end, and I don't even care if it's spoiling the game's like since the beginning of the console, so I think there's enough time on that. But it's like, it's one of those things where it's okay, this reasoning would have been cool halfway into the game, not literally in the final boss battle, because you literally defeat her and you learn this story. So you're like, you couldn't have put any extra time into this, because this could have been a nice thing to flesh out.
That kind of happened in Metal Gear Solid 5, but it worked well for it, I would say. But this
it's also like a Kojima game. You expect some stupidity and a little bit of like crazy swerving. This game is like, you had a pretty basic story going here, and you just muddied it a little bit. Why?
I don't know. I found Infamous was very the story development in it wasn't done the greatest. It was so casual that you didn't even notice the
Yeah.
story progressing.
Yeah.
The problem is like whatever they did have, they kind of piss it away towards the end because that sucks. And if you get if you play the evil side is even dumber. And it brought up something that I'm probably going to do a solo video on where I just kind of talk about I'm so tired of good and bad options in games. Just pick one and make one story because I'm tired of the both sides of the thing. Because it's like, dude, most of these good bad stuff don't actually mean anything. Like this game literally is just be a dick. And the end, because you're essentially native in this game, you go back to your tribe. If you did the good ending, they all are all really happy and whatever else. If you are bad, you still save them, and then they go, well, we saw what you did and we don't support it. So you fucking kill them all.
What the fuck?
So it's like, what?
Save them to kill them.
It's the same with Mass Effect. Like, I love Mass Effect, but why would you ever play bad? Because all the characters you like, you treat them like shit if you play the Renegade version of the game. So it's like,
which wouldn't make sense.
Bad.
Even
like,
in Mass Effect 2?
In any Mass Effect. Like, straight up, the whole thing of a good versus bad, good should be you're just doing things because you want to be a hero. If you're being bad, you're just greedy and you want things for yourself. But your party members should also follow that. But instead, you just treat them like garbage, and they're just like, oh, well, he's still this amazing thing, I should follow him. So it's not
like,
interesting.
It's not like Simpsons where it's like, now's our chance to be bad.
No, it's literally just anything around you it seems to be inconsequential in most games. Like, if there are good games that have good versus bad options, then list those in the comments below, guys, if you're ever listening to this, because I'd love to know, but, like, most of the games that I see that use these systems are so, like, not that interesting with them, because...
So, what I'm finding with what you're saying, it's like, the best villains are the ones who have a mission behind their motives, who are like, I'm doing wrong things, but for a good reason.
Well, in the case of these,
it's like, and the thing is, a lot of people, because they have such a strong passion for what they're doing, they're able to get people behind them.
Well, and that would be wonderful if that's what actually happened. But all the games that do it are just you do the same things, but one you're nice and one you're a dick. There's no correlation between the two. And that's why I say, look, if you're going to make that kind of game, just fucking pick one route and go, because clearly we've seen with all these games, they don't really change the characters around you. It's just you just do certain things differently and everybody else still blindly follows you. I'd rather you just decide to make me the hero or just make me the villain and do that as a game. Like, I would rather play a game of Infamous if you said, okay, you literally want every human dead because they've treated you like shit for so long. Take a risk, have some balls, or here's an idea, stop fucking playing the good versus bad stuff, because as we've learned, most people don't use the bad. I remember hearing that the Mass Effect one of the writers or somebody in the development team said like not even 10% of people that play through that game actually do a full Renegade run.
Yeah.
So it's very like most people don't do it.
I find that concept worked well for Red Dead Redemption, but you're not really bad.
Well, there isn't a good versus bad choice. It's just you are an outlaw and you are a mix.
Yeah.
Like, you do both, but there's no arbitrary meter that says you are this good or you are this bad, and you don't get certain. Like, that's the thing too with Mass Effect. You have to pick one side right from the very beginning, because you don't complete the game as full if you don't have the bar filled up to one side. So it's that thing too, where if you play the good versus bad stuff, you're basically demanding your audience, your gamers, your player base to pick an option from the very beginning and stick to it, and they have no way of being able to be both. Because you should be able to be both with no consequence in terms of a penalty, in terms of unlocking trophies, unlocking character cutscenes later on, or final missions, or anything like that. You should be able to have like a decision where one time you save people because it's the right thing to do, or there's a certain character that you say, fuck him, I'm not going to let him rot in jail, I'm going to kill this bastard because he deserves it. You can't do both. You have to be nice the whole way through.
No one is 100% good. No one is 100% evil.
Like, and that's why it makes no sense to do that in a game, because it's not reminiscent of real life to begin with.
To play as a mixture is very interesting.
There's definitely one game I can think of that does do it well. I don't know if you guys ever played Fable,
Yes.
like way back in the day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I remember you
what-
talking about it.
Yeah, from what I remember, because it was a very, very long time ago that I played that. I do remember that the good versus evil was worked better into the story. And I do remember that by the end of it, like there was certain situations like where I was choosing something and I became more evil, but it wasn't like the just here's a good choice, here's a bad choice, that's it. It was kind of like there was multiple choices and some of them had like an amount of evil to them and some of them had an amount of good to them. I think it was kind of like that. And by the end of it, I do remember there was parts when all of a sudden my character started to look different and started to look
Well, yeah, because I
more
think at some point they'll start like growing like horns or something.
yeah, and it was
That's
just choices
interesting.
that I didn't know whether it was good or bad. There was just a choice.
I mean,
and
there's
started
the obvious ones, right? You either save the people or fucking slaughter them. Like there's sometimes where it's that easy, but
yeah, I think the final option or the final decision in Fable, spoiler alert for like, I don't know, 20-year-old fucking game, but I think it was like it was you found out that the person at the end was your sister, the evil girl or whatever, and it was like, do you still kill her? Because she is evil. Everything that's happened, she is bad, but it's because of what happened to you guys as kids, and
yeah.
she's still alive. Do you still kill her or let her live?
Like I think the only games that I can think of
Yeah.
that actually do it relatively well, but they don't actually have a good versus evil stuff, are all the Telltale games because you can be whatever you want to be, but they don't tell you specifically what the consequences are. That's when it's done right because there's no arbitrary meter to it. It's just, hey, you do this, it's going to unlock this. You don't know what that is, but it's unlocking something that's going to happen down the road.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't good or evil. It was more just consequences. There
It's
are
like
consequences.
literally one of the smallest things in the original Walking Dead is that there is a car you can scavenge supplies from. That making that call has a massive effect in the game later in the game.
Yeah,
Like just something that simple. And
Yeah.
that's when it's done right. But when it's literally just, especially when they tell you, like BioWare games were terrible for this for a while, when they literally have the blue option in text, so you know that this is the good thing, and if here's the red, here's the asshole thing.
Yeah.
It's just like it leaves out any window of being able to have a freedom of choice to things.
yeah. No, because then if you've decided you want to be good, you're just going to choose blue without even reading it. Sometimes, like,
Yeah.
what's the point?
Well, I mean, as an aside, there that was. Oh, sorry. Do you have something to add there?
I think a game about Deadpool would actually work really well with stuff like this.
A Telltale Deadpool game sounds fucking amazing now that I think about
A
it.
Telltale one? Holy shit! Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Because it's like they would be bad choices, but they would make it funny in a way.
Well, to be fair, if Deadpool was going to use the good versus bad meter, it would be a troll. It's just every decision you make, he just says "fuck you," we're doing this instead, and just slices the guy's head
Yeah,
off.
it wouldn't actually choose your decision. That would be the
No.
hilarious part of it.
Actually, you know what? I'm just thinking right now would be make an awesome Telltale game. A Joker one. It's like what would be?
I mean, there's a
but it wouldn't
Batman
be
one,
good.
so
They have that.
No, but I mean just purely as Joker. It's like it's not like what would be a good or bad choice. It'd be like what would be a bad choice, what would be an even worse choice.
well, no, because
You gotta
again,
play the
you
second
can't control
Batman one,
Joker. Like it would probably be the same thing as Deadpool. Like you would pick something, and Joker would be like, "I have a better idea."
Have either of you played the second Batman Telltale game?
I haven't
Not
played
yet,
any
you
of them.
told me about it, and it sounds fucking
So-
awesome.
What you're talking about with Joker is the main focus, and it's I don't want to spoil any of it, but it's basically your decisions affect Joker most of the time. So it's kind of like a Joker Telltale, only you're not playing as Joker, but you have great impact over him in a way.
Okay.
It's hard to that sounds like nonsense probably, but trust me,
No, it
if you
sounds
want like a Joker Telltale, this is the one you want.
Alrighty. Well, I'll go all the way back to Infamous before we get on this tangent any longer. So I'll just quickly say, like, the gameplay itself, I enjoyed every minute of it. They give you enough time with each, because you get 3 set of powers, and then you get the final boss's powers for, I guess, more like a New Game Plus, or just like finishing the rest of the map if you wanted to. I
thing.
didn't do that because I'm a completionist, so I finished it long before the final boss.
Oh yeah.
I cleared the entire map, and there were still like 4 missions left. So I still had a lot of time left. But they give you enough time in between all the powers that I at least got enough time with all of them. Enjoyed almost all of them. Like the last one they give you, which is the angel powers. I didn't get nearly as much time as compared to the other two, and I ended up liking Fetch's neon powers more anyway because it's just fucking awesome to glide across the screen like that. But for the most part, like I enjoyed it for what it was. It's just one of those games where you could tell that there could have been something a little bit more there, and they just kind of pulled it all back and just kind of went with a very basic story. So it's not going to be a game that I'm going to remember. It ended up being like a good 20 hours to kill, which is helpful because PSO2 Phantasy Star fucking Online 2 is finally coming out on the 27th of May, and that's where most of my time's going to go. So not this podcast, but the next podcast after that, you'll be hearing me just talking nonstop about how either I'm going to be playing this game for months or fuck this game. It's going to be one of the two.
It's going to be one of those two for sure. Nowhere.
Really, it's like Adam just saying one or the other. There's no in between on this one.
Yeah, this is the
sometimes
right.
I like being in between.
Adam sandwich.
But yeah, that's going to be it for me. So let's go with Vish.
So I unfortunately I had to take over a lot of stuff this long weekend, so I haven't. My PS4 hasn't even been turned on.
All right, you're banned.
14 days last time I checked.
I know. I haven't turned on the gaming PC. I haven't done anything. I don't know. Did I mention on the last episode if I watched Bumblebee, or was it on gradually mentioned this?
Well, I think we mentioned it on our bonus a little bit. So
okay,
yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, just roughly. I mean, obviously, like you said yourself that you actually didn't mind it, which is mystifying to me because Transformers movies have had this massive guise of just always being shit.
Yeah. This one was unbelievable. It literally was what Transformers should have been. Less was more. There was only about 3 Transformers who were really prominent in the movie, including Bumblebee.
Whoa. Why would he be in that movie?
Yeah, Bumblebee's in Bumblebee?
Oh, fuck. Spoiler alert. Sorry, guys.
Shit. Next, you're going to tell me that Joker was the main character of Joker. Fuck.
No! Dude, fuck.
Sorry, guys. Massive spoilers. I should have put the big spoiler warning up.
Wait, did we watch that? Did we watch that together?
No.
Oh, okay. Fuck. You piece of shit. But it was just I saw it and I'm like, what the hell? I'm actually enjoying this. And there's actually a story and something you can follow through. It was there was a lot of heart in this movie.
Well, it's easy to have story in a movie where you don't have Megan Fox's ass on the screen half the time.
Well, that's the only story I care about.
Wasn't that the plot of the original Star Wars movie?
Funny. It's funny because you say plot because that's all that was important in that movie.
So with this one, it was just it had a lot of substance, and I'm literally watching. I'm waiting to hate this because when I watched the one Dark of the Moon or Age of Extinction, I think it was the one with Mark Wahlberg, I left the theater legitimately pissed off. When I left Avatar, the movie, pissed off. I was like, why the fuck did I waste my time on that? And I usually enjoy going to the theater, not even just to watch a movie. It's just a social hangout. And I'm like, that was an absolute piece of shit. And that's the same thing I felt about that Transformers one. I was like, this was an absolute piece of shit. I was so fucking angry leaving the theater. This time I was like, there's actually a lot of stuff to like about this. Bumblebee was awesome. Haley Steinfeld or whatever her name is, she was a great character. It was she was relatable. The villains were actually intelligent and actually had a motive to them. And Optimus, and also one thing that I cannot stress enough that was important, they actually had old retro vintage Transformers looks. Not the overly mechanical ones that Michael Bay puts out. They were actually you would think this is what the 80s Optimus Prime would look like. This is what the 80s Starscream would look like. This is what the 80s Bumblebee would look like. They actually had proper character designs this time. And I'm like, why was this not Transformers to begin with? This series would have been so much better if they had the team working on this, working on the rest of the movies. So
It's-
if they do Transformers again, they got to do it like this, because this actually had substance, not just a bunch of close-ups on machinery of a character who you saw for like 5 seconds fully, instead of zooming in all the time. They actually showed like real substance, real battles, and real characters. I literally was like, this movie's actually really good.
That's
I gotta
adorable,
give it
though.
a
You really think that Hollywood's gonna give a shit about a cash cow that they can milk? Come on,
Oh yeah.
come on.
No,
Well,
but apparently
it's-
they're
it-
rebooting it.
It's like X-Men First Class. Nobody expected it to actually be any good because it was supposed to just be there for a license. Sometimes you just luck into one.
Yep, and I get what you're saying. And my favorite of the X-Men's is Days of Futures Past.
That's
And
that's the
what-
thing. When they realize, like, oh, we have a formula that works again. Okay, let's try it again, and then it worked. And they're like, okay, let's try it one more time, and that was Dark Phoenix. And we went, oh, nope, that's
No,
that's
no,
not
you're
You're
gonna
forgetting
work.
Apocalypse.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no, it started going downhill already, and then they finished it off. They're
yeah,
like, let's just fuck this.
yeah, no, but
Okay,
the thing is,
later.
I think at that point they knew Disney was buying Fox, and they were like, "Hey, this movie's not that great." Yeah, no, it's awesome. Keep going. No,
Yeah.
keep going.
Ship
No,
it.
it's just they knew it was gonna make money. So
So I
Yeah.
watched. Yeah, I just for fun, I put on Rampage, a movie with The Rock in it. I remember watching it on my flight to Europe when I went on my Euro tour a few years ago, and I watched it at probably what was around 3 a.m. Toronto time, and I blacked out because it was 3 a.m. Toronto time. So I watched like the beginning, and I watched the ending. I was like, "What did I miss?" It's fun. It's a simple like watch. It's just
it's a
like
rock movie. It's not meant to be anything crazy. It's just literally
Yeah.
just you go in there, you turn your brain off, and you just have fun.
Yeah.
it was good. It wasn't like overly stupidly cheesy, but it actually was not bad, and it's actually based on a game.
Yeah,
from
it's like the it's like-
Rampage games.
yeah, trying to think of the old like Atari games, I think, wasn't it?
It was
I
actually
used to play it on
PlayStation
NES.
as well.
Yeah, they did make new ones, and it was an arcade game that they ported to NES.
Yeah.
And
So it
I
wasn't-
rented that from Blockbuster like fucking 30 to 50 times. Easy in my childhood.
Hmm.
And it takes like 4 minutes to beat it if you know what you're doing. There's like
Yep.
2 levels of just buildings, and you punch them as an ape or wolf or lizard.
So it was actually a lot of fun, and the story was actually not terrible. The villains were very campy, and even
As
the,
they
the
would be
characters were
usually in a
campy.
rock movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it was just fun. Like if anyone has Netflix, just go ahead and watch it. It's just fun.
If anybody has
Uh,
Netflix,
And
you know that
I
lesser
actually-
known program, Netflix.
Pretty sure they surpassed Disney in value during the
They
quarantine.
did. They actually did for now.
Yeah.
And also, I decided to watch a grown-up film. I watched. I've been watching a lot of mob movies lately. So this isn't a mob movie, but it has a guy who's very known for mob movies. I watched *Scent of a Woman* with Al Pacino because I've never seen it before, and I was like, "What's the
Fantastic.
hoo-ha about it?" And great movie, great, absolutely brilliant performance, and yeah, I just had to watch it once.
So you got
But-
time to watch movies, but you still don't got time to watch The Expanse or play Horizon.
Yeah,
You
what
son of
the
a
hell?
bitch.
I know.
You watched
Every
Rampage
podcast is gonna
for
happen,
the
bro.
second time.
I had to mention it today because I did not think this thing fucking existed. I was just like, guys, just shut up and just let it die. Stop it, just shut up. And then it happened.
Are we talking the Snyder Cut?
Yes. Did not think that thing fucking existed. I did not even think. I'm just literally like, guys, just shut the fuck up. Then now I saw it on Henry Cavill's Instagram. I was like, the Snyder Cut is coming. I was like,
I'm still
What?
convinced that it's bullshit, and that just enough people bitch about it that he's like, you know what? Let's just do one, just
Yeah.
to shut him
I
up.
think, you know what is also, I think DC realizes that they're not going to have any movies this year besides Wonder Woman. And next year, they may
That's
not
also
have-
why I'm suspicious of whether or not it's actually like a thing that's always existed.
But isn't it coming out on HBO Max? That's what I read.
Yeah, but it's coming out on HBO Max. And
Well,
a few
it'll
other
star on
things about
HBO
it.
Max, and then it'll be on every pirated website possible.
Yeah, because like, who
Please.
the fuck's buying HBO Max?
Whoever has an Android box is going to get the same day or maybe 2 days later. So what I'm looking at it as, DC's desperate right now because Marvel, even with only Black Widow coming out this year potentially,
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
next year they're going to have at least 3 or 4 movies coming out.
If
So
they can still do them,
yeah,
they might still get delayed, but yeah.
well, it looks like a few of them are picking up. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is picking up. No, I don't. One of the Marvel productions is picking up, and a lot of DC's stuff is just suffering badly. So at this point, they're probably desperate and trying to get back their foot back in, so they can at least be like, okay, the Batman's coming. Maybe honestly, the Snyder cut could just be shit. Could
Well, this
maybe
is the
not
thing
even
too,
be
right? Like, I'm not convinced that it's gonna do anything. Because, by the way, this is me speaking directly to them, guys. You know, there's a pandemic, so there's nothing you really can do that's gonna make you that much better, and you're not hemorrhaging money, so fuck off. But like,
what
but like, here's an idea. You guys want to get things going good again? Here's an idea. Fucking stop whatever you're doing. Look at what you're doing and figure out what the hell is wrong with it, because clearly, apart from Wonder Woman and Shazam, which, to be fair, Shazam was more of a comedy rather than an actual DC movie like all the serious Marvel movies were. So it's really hard to
Shazam was
fuck up a
more
comedy.
Shazam did what the formula of Thor Ragnarok almost.
Like, it's really hard to screw that up when you already have like people's nostalgia going into play, and all you gotta do is make some good jokes.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that it may not even be that great, and
There's a
they'll
pretty
just
good
be
chance
like-
it won't, because how much
Yeah.
is there to
That's
salvage?
true.
And I just don't know. Like, I honestly, and they're even saying that the cast is willing to work with Snyder to fix a few things. So I'm starting to feel that like they may be doing the movie all over again. And if they're doing that, don't put Ben Affleck in it. Just get rid of him.
Well, it's a
I'm
whole other
sorry.
conversation for another show. But
So that's again, unfortunately, I have not started Devil May Cry yet, or Horizon, or The Expanse.
If only I had the
And-
shame meme. Shame.
Adam,
Shame.
just put the shame above my face.
that
in
is
the
too
video.
much fucking work. I'm not doing that. That means I have
You're
to.
not gonna put
Yeah,
a
put
GIF
it above
of
your
I
face.
literally-
It goes right on your face.
I literally have to find the timestamp. I'm not gonna. No, forget it. Chris, Sam, what are you been up to?
So I have played many games, believe it or not. So right after last week's episode, I was talking about how much I was obsessed with Spider-Man, and I decided right when we finished filming to just go finish Spider-Man, no matter how many hours it took, because I knew I was close to the end. It was like 70% or something. And Adam, you were right, because last episode you said the percentage is probably also based on some like completionist stuff, like side missions and stuff. So I was at 70 and I ended up finishing it, and when I finished it was at 81. So you were 100% correct.
You finished it roughly around the same percentage I did.
Okay, perfect then. So I went, and I think it took me till about 2:30 in the morning. I was pretty drunk by the end because I kept drinking whiskey throughout the whole thing, because I'm like, oh, it's gonna take another 20 minutes. Oh, just another 20
National
minutes.
Whiskey Day.
And then, 4 hours later, it was finally over. And oh my god, that game was beautiful. The ending
And it was devastating.
devastating, but so good at the same
Well,
time.
it told you right away that, like, okay, it's not just going to be the movies that have the really good
No.
storytelling.
Yeah, no, and I was convinced like it was gonna be MJ or something that happens like from what you
You
guys
can talk about it
talking
now.
about.
It's a 2-year-old game.
No.
so
I
No,
wouldn't
no,
want
no,
to spoil that one for people.
You,
'Cause
I just thought like
that's
something-
that's a pretty hefty spoiler to throw on somebody with
Yeah,
no
yeah.
context.
This was one what's the word I'm saying? Twist that honestly I didn't think they would have ever had the balls to do.
That was exactly what I said. Where I'm like, okay, you know that you can take these guys seriously with these games because they're willing to take some
Yeah.
real balls to go far with this.
Yeah, it was.
I think
It was fantastic.
originally I was reading up. I think it was originally vetoed by Marvel, saying no, this isn't fucking happening. But it's like eventually, like okay,
They probably went, hey, see how we do it, and then let us know.
Yeah, and then Sony was like, "Guys, remember Spider-Man? Us? Look at these, the movies. This is our system."
it was
Didn't-
like this was because again, it's like because it wasn't like it just happened. It wasn't like it was a consequence of his action, like with Gwen Stacy.
No, there was nothing he could do.
This was more like,
well, there was kinda,
but
maybe.
it would have resulted in a much more tragic situation. And I literally was just like I was like, okay, I am so happy the game is over. I don't think I could have played it any further if this was like, if there was any more left. If it was like you had to have the last boss battle after this happened, I don't know if I could let. It's like,
I'd fight that boss and kick the shit out of him or her.
Like it was literally my favorite thing of Spider-Man, plain and simple.
Yeah. So other than the ending itself, like if you were to give a score for Spider-Man, what would you give it?
A true score, like a 9 out of 10. Like to say it's a perfect 10 out of 10, there's very few games in the world that I like. If I was like IGN or something, it's a 10 out of 10. But if giving it a realistic score of is there anything that could be done better? Actually, I don't even know if I could think of anything I could do better.
Because that's what I was gonna ask. I'm like, okay, what would it have to do to get that 10 then?
Yeah, like it might be a 10. Like it's definitely either a perfect 10 or close to.
Because I mean, 10 doesn't necessarily like, this is the thing too, and we'll have this conversation at some point, like going through ratings again. But like a 10 doesn't necessarily mean it has no flaws. 10 just means like this is a game that, despite any, like I said, that Trails of Cold Steel 3 in my review is honestly a 10. But it's not to say that there are not a lot of things about it that I don't like. But it's just that game, in spite of its flaws, I still can't say that I didn't enjoy every moment of it.
Oh yeah, there wasn't a moment I didn't enjoy. I didn't do all the side missions, so it's not like I did like the pigeon thing or whatever that.
Yeah, I told you that one.
You were talking about. I didn't end up doing that. I was not a huge fan of the like science side mission things where you go and Harry has those pods set up.
Oh, like the DNA stuff or whatever.
Swing over the fish or swing in the air and go through the cloud. It's not like I hated it, but it wasn't like I wasn't excited to do those.
Yeah, some of the side activities they do, it's kind of like you can tell that they were just kind of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what stuck, because they were kind of just figuring out how else to just add something to the open world.
Absolutely, but like, so much of it is so good.
They should have had a wrestling ring in a cage and had you fighting Macho Man Randy Savage. That would have been a much better side mission.
That's how you make it a 10 point.
Oh my god, can you imagine they included that? Like
they actually take the original audio too. That would just be.
Yeah.
You obviously couldn't do that because I don't think the family would ever greenlight it, but still.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I know you haven't had a chance to play it yet because I've been asking you consistently. But that game, I can tell you, is definitely a 10. Metal Gear 5.
Well, I'm like 30 hours into Metal Gear 5. I'm just nowhere near the end because I'm doing so much side stuff.
Have you been playing it lately?
No. So the other things I've been playing once I finished Spider-Man.
You don't get to bitch. You're the person who hasn't done the thing we've asked you to for like 2 months.
Finish the Expanse and then you can complain to me.
You shut your goddamn self up.
Since I still have my PlayStation Now thing for the month, I decided, okay, it's time to play The Last of Us because I've never played that. I think I got like 4-5 hours in, not too far. I do really enjoy the game. It just is a game I find that as I'm playing, because of the way you fight enemies, it's a lot more stealthy. Yeah, it's a lot more stealthy compared to, say, like Uncharted, where you can stealth the odd person, but then it's just like, okay, go behind cover and shoot everybody.
Uncharted doesn't even allow you to be stealthy, to be entirely honest.
In 4, you definitely can. Like in the newest game, you definitely can. It's just the problem is it's so hard to do it successfully. Eventually, you just give up and be like, fuck it, we're blowing everything up.
Well, oddly enough, the other game I played for a bit on PlayStation Now, because my heart was racing.
3.
Yeah, I went and played Uncharted 3 because The Last of Us, like I'd fight and I'd go through an entire building with clickers and all that shit, taking them out one at a time, and then if you get caught and you get bit, then you end up having to do the whole part you like just did. Even if you took out 6 guys and you're finally on the last one, the 7th, and you screwed up the stealth kill and you died.
That was another part of why I kind of gave up on the game, because I got way too frustrated with this checkpointing.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily frustrated, but my heart was racing because I was like getting so worked up and so into it, and I actually could feel the stress that I'm assuming I would feel in real life if that was the situation.
Well, we just
so I had to take a break. So I took a break and played Uncharted 3. I ended up playing like half of it in one sitting over the long weekend. There is some stealth you can do. They actually
Did you
start
finish the game?
No, I only played the one time. I have to play again. I had the first time I played it back on PS3. I borrowed it off Uvishal in 2013.
I bought it for you actually.
Oh, you bought it for me. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I got to the point I'm at now. Oddly enough, I must have sat and played it once, and then I just never
For
went
the
back
exact
to it
same
after
time.
Yeah, and this time I'm gonna play it though. I'm gonna go and I want to finish it. I want to be done with it.
You can finish from where are you right now in the game?
I'm
from
on
what
chapter 9 of 22 or 10 of 22.
You could
And
probably
usually the
finish
last-
it in like on Friday night.
You'll probably
You start,
finish
like,
it in a
the-
sitting or like just spread it out on the weekend.
Yeah,
kinda
I've
deal.
got one
not
or two
long.
sittings left, depending on how much I really put into it.
I found this
what's
was
it?
more of like a graphical display than anything else.
I actually am enjoying it more than last time, but it's probably because I didn't just play 1 and 2, so I'm not comparing it as much. I am liking the story. I'm liking where it goes. It's got the same, National Treasure, Lara Croft, Indiana Jones modern feel, which is kind of cool. I'm really enjoying it, and I imagine I'll finish it this week. Maybe I'll play right after the podcast today. Who knows? I imagine I'll be done and ready to give my review next week. But I am enjoying it. And then the last game I played and I played it through and I'm done it. It's an indie game that I believe, Adam, you have played, 2064 Read Only Memories.
That's a fucking good visual novel.
Yes. Yeah, it's a visual novel. So Vishal, it's a visual novel that's in like pixelated Super Nintendo kind of style graphics, but it's like a first person perspective, but it's all visual novels. So you have a menu to your left, and you click around the screen and you can like open a computer and, go and check your email, choose where you go on the map, who you talk to, what you do.
It's almost like some of those really old like point and click adventures that you'd see, like the Carmen Sandiego games from way back in the day.
Yes.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I played through it. I have it on PC because I got it in like one of the million Humble Bundles that I got, but it was 99 cents on Switch.
And it's
And I was
voice
like,
acted
okay.
too, which is surprising for a game like
Yeah.
that.
I
And
noticed
very
some of
well
the
done.
voices.
Like everything's actually remarkably well done.
Yeah, the main character from the first Walking Dead, the guy that took care of Clement. I can't remember his
Lee?
name. Lee. I heard his voice. He's the narrator in the game.
Yeah, a guy that I used to watch on YouTube. His name's Jim Sterling. He plays the protester that's protesting against all the surgery.
Yeah.
He's got like the British accent to him.
Yeah. Sweet. Oh, cool. Yeah, because I knew there was a lot of voices. Like even on the Switch store, when you're looking at it, it's like voiced by, and it gives like a list of people. So that's a big selling feature, I guess, for them. I really, really, really enjoyed it.
It was
I rebought
surprisingly
it on
good.
Switch because I was like, I'm not gonna play this on TV. I want to go on my balcony and like sit there with a coffee or a beer and play through on my Switch because like the graphics style and everything, it fits perfectly for it, right? I played through it, I think, in 2 sittings, like 4 hours each. I got it done in like 8 hours.
So
It
without
was
context, then I gotta
perfect.
ask one question. What did you think about
Yeah.
that last little fight at the end? Was that not terrifying?
Yeah, and it's
I won't,
crazy that it's
like,
terrifying.
Vish might get around to it at some point, or like because you can always share it through Steam. But like, there's really like no combat throughout the entire game, and then towards the end, it just thrusts something into you, and it's
Yeah.
fucking terrifying. Like it's almost like you against the Terminator kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like
And
it's
imagine you have to move around like it's a chessboard, but this person moves even more, and you can close some doors and stuff and try and block them.
it
But
ends,
then
it ends up
they
being more
show
like
up
like a
and-
Is it
strategy game.
turn-based combat?
No, it literally
No.
just becomes like this strategy game for about like this only thing. Everything else in the game is just pick your own or choose your own adventure kind of deal. It's just this
Yeah.
one thing they throw you in, so you're put off guard intentionally, and the system like I legit got scared playing this game because
I
you
did too.
don't know what the fuck's gonna happen because
I did
it's
too.
it's a randomized AI too, so there's no
Yeah.
easy strategy to it. I remember getting so mad at it because I failed twice. So I'm like, there's got to be an easy solution, and people kept saying there isn't an easy solution. Just try to do this as best you can.
I survived the first time, like right on the final turn. I managed to live.
Yeah.
And it was pure chance because I was out of, you get like the taser to protect yourself a couple times. I'd used my last one. And he was Terminator guy right by me. And if he had got me, and I think he was one space away in the end, or like one corner away.
It's
I was so
fucking
close.
like
I
if
was
you
like,
want to
I'm
talk
fucked.
about
I'm fucked.
intensity, that game made my heart beat faster than it ever should have.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good, and it's again just like a point and click, and then this part comes up, but really good story. Like,
Yeah.
it actually has consequences like worldwide with decisions you make, and it's crazy. It's pretty
And then
crazy.
you can be a dick to tiny robots by not letting them take water.
Yeah, there's 2 achievements, one for befriending him and one for basically being an asshole to him by the end of the game. And you can do that with every character, but I mean the robot, Turing is harmless. He's
And
so
like the one thing that I want to say
What?
about that game too, because I feel like it has to be said, because this ended up being a culture war problem too, because a lot of that game is marred in LGBTQ stuff. Not to mention a lot of, even like the furry community kind of gets somewhat involved to this, and
Yeah.
people got a little bit mad because certain people were a part of the project or certain characters were being designed. This is one of those cases where it's like, look, if you're mad at that for that issue, it's just because you don't like the content, because the actual like production and the quality supersedes any controversy that it could have had. Because I
yeah.
went in, and I'll spoil it. Zoe Quinn is literally in this game as a voice actress. Who is
Oh,
who? She is basically the reason Gamergate happened in the first place.
yeah.
Like the
Okay.
long story short is
She's fucking Voldemort.
Gamergate to some people was a mixture of either just bigotry, which is what the left proceeded as, like the journalistic media, and the other half was people initially, before it turned into an actual culture war, was because there were people that found out that this woman who made a game called Depression Quest was having a relationship with a Kotaku journalist who was saying good things about that game. So there was a conflict of interest, and it suddenly just ballooned into this crazy thing that went on for about 5+ years now. But she's in that game, and when I heard about that, I'm like, fuck, because I was about to start this game, and I just wanted to research about it because I recognized a voice. And when I looked through the cast, her name was in there. I'd be like, fuck, am I about to play a goddamn SJW game? And by the end of the game, I went, no, this game's fucking great. Like,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
with my anti-SJW radar on, I'm like, no, this game is fucking good.
Yeah, everything in the story actually made sense for the story, because it's like, again, it's kind of like a Deus Ex kind of situation in the world. Not as bad, not like the Deus Ex games.
No,
it's
no,
just
it's definitely
Okay,
like in the
so,
early days of like transitional surgery in terms of making you like a lot of gene splicing. It's not necessarily gender related. It's to the point of like adding cybernetic stuff. So
yeah.
what is so great about Deus Ex?
The concept or the games?
The game itself, because I saw the
initially,
videos,
freedom of choice was a big deal back in those days with those games.
Yeah.
I've
okay.
played Human Revolution on 360. It was pretty good. Mankind Divided, I cannot get behind. Like that game just didn't do anything for me. So
I haven't played that one yet. I guess it's not going to be well. I own it. It was like $4 on Steam. That's probably a bad sign. But yeah, other than that, that's the many games that I've played through. I finished 2, and I have 2 more that I'm hoping to finish, which is good because I need to finish 4 a month, and I've now beaten 3, so I'll actually be ahead. Look at that.
Quick
cool.
question: What do you use for scheduling? Google Calendars or Outlook?
there's a random
Scheduling-
question for the VCR podcast.
Yeah,
Yes.
like scheduling my gaming.
No, like in general.
I use my Apple Calendar.
I
That's
use
on
my
my
brain.
MacBook
So
phone.
make sure you put Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain in there. Okay?
Again, you don't get to say that shit.
Yeah, it'll be after June 2nd at the latest.
Oh, that's when
That's
your
when my PS Now runs out, and I want to get through Last of Us and Uncharted 3.
Well, in that
You can
case,
finish them
Vish,
both in a
whatever
week.
your calendar is, start from tomorrow, put it for the next until all the way through June, and saying Horizon and fucking Expanse.
Yeah.
I got a Devil May Cry first.
Nope, fuck you. Then you don't get to bitch. You don't get to complain. You don't get to complain.
He's already on what's it called?
Yeah, but if
Metal
he's
Gear.
if he can
Yeah.
if you're procrastinating, so can he. That's just the rule.
I'm not
I don't make the rules.
procrastinating.
It's just the rule.
I bought a subscription. It's because of you fuckers. You made me get Spider-Man, and you changed my stupid life.
You're so
You're
upset
welcome.
that you had to play Spider-Man.
I'm on a whole
Man.
new path of gaming now because of you fuckers.
Yeah, I
and
know.
we'll get to that
Now
later.
all of a sudden he wants a
You made the
PS5.
Guinness World Records of the only person disappointed by Spider-Man, the video game.
I wasn't disappointed.
Okay.
Oh, I see, because I'm saying you fuckers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. You guys gave me crack. That's what you did. You gave me crack. That is Spider-Man, and now I'm addicted to crack.
So then I will proceed to give you
No,
more
the crack is
with
Sony games.
Not all of them. Not like that.
So
Maybe.
I will proceed to try to give you more crack then as we talk about what's coming out in the next 7 days. Because we are going to
Yeah,
move on to our
absolutely.
stories after this. the first few don't really mean much to most of us, but coming out on the 26th, by the way, like this is all for the following week because we're ahead now. So on the 26th for PS4, Xbox, PC, and Switch, we have Minecraft Dungeons, which is basically Minecraft Diablo at this point.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to play that.
It looks kind of interesting, but it's one of those things where it's like, I need to see a sale price before I take a look at that.
Good point. Yeah, I wouldn't pay full price for that.
Next up on the 28th, same for devices. I used to pronounce this Shantae. Apparently it's Shantae.
Oh, Shantae the genie?
Shantae and the Seven Sirens, which is basically a side-scrolling platform. I've never actually played any of them, and I keep wanting to get around to them.
You would love it because they are basically like the original was Game Boy Advance, and they kept that Game Boy Advance feel.
Oh, I've seen people play. Like they look a lot of fun. It's just one of those things where it's like there's so much other stuff on the list that you just never get around to it.
I think I got 2 of them on my Steam account, so you can give them a go.
Yeah, I actually have them downloaded. That's the funny part.
Oh, there you go.
I prepared for it. It's just I haven't gotten around to it. The only one on this list that I don't know anything about, I quickly researched just a trailer just to see it. But on the 28th, we have Those Who Remain for PC, Xbox, and PC, which is basically like another one of those alternate horror games, similar to like what you would see with like a Man or not a Man of Medan, like oh my god, what's the fucking art?
We
one?
Happy Few?
No. We're talking like straight up just walk around and get potentially scared the shit out of yourself. So
Like
there's been a lot
Amnesia?
of those lately. Well, yeah, like Amnesia, I guess. In a
I don't
sense.
like that.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of those, but I mean, they get over really well with people because they're great for streaming games too, right? Like that's the thing too.
Yeah,
It's a
the
streaming
reaction
community game
videos.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then this is the part, Chris, where you suddenly have a lot of shit that you could potentially go at on Switch. Not that you may necessarily, because you probably have all of this on Steam anyway, but it's still funny. So the
But
following,
if it comes to Switch, it's portable now, and then fuck it.
so the
Let's
following
just hear it.
4 things are coming to Switch on the 29th: the BioShock collection,
Oh fuck.
the Borderlands collection,
Oh fuck.
Oh,
the
fuck.
XCOM 2 collection,
Oh fuck me.
and the Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
Oh, I have that on my wish list. I want that so bad because I never actually played the
All in
original.
one
I've never
day.
played the
That's
first or
just
the
That's
mean
on
second.
your
for Switch
Steam or
users.
Switch wish list?
No, that is a Nintendo exclusive, the Xenoblade. But
That is
spiritual
mean to put
successor
on for
to
Switch
Xenogears
users.
and Xenosaga. It's the same team.
It's just
Fuck
so
me.
cruel. Because if you're not a big PC guy or you haven't been playing all these things, like here's 3 major franchises and a remake of a game that's pretty popular on Nintendo consoles.
I have all of those on Steam except for XCOM 2. And I mean, that'd be a really
Honestly,
good way to get
well, that's what I was
XCOM
just
2.
gonna say.
It fits
XCOM 2
so
on
well.
Switch seems like a great idea because of a great,
Yeah.
like an over-the-top grid game.
Fuck me. Hang on, I gotta go get my wallet.
But yeah, that's everything.
buying all
Or at
those.
least
It's
that's like the
Nintendo.
major stuff that's coming out in the next 7 days. But before we talk about the PS5 wish list, because that's probably going to take us like a fucking hour, let's just briefly talk about the state of play for Ghost of Tsushima, or as I like to call it, what looks to be what Assassin's Creed Japan should look like.
Yes, right?
Yes.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Like
I
that.
rewatched it today, and oh my god, is it
Like,
beautiful.
I love the fact that the combat's what makes me think it's Assassin's Creed, but everything else is like its own special thing. I love the fact that this game is not going to have a major HUD system where it tells you wherever to go. If you want to know where to
Nothing at
go,
all.
let the wind point you the direction and keep an eye on animals because they will lead you to stuff. I love
Follow
that.
the birds and follow the foxes.
Because it keeps
I
you
am so down
moving
for that.
without thinking, okay, but I gotta check this area, gotta check this area. It's just go. Just go.
It's definitely going to be a learning curve, but I think it'll be a really
Well, it doesn't seem
cool
like it's going to be that
concept.
difficult because there's good, like as long as because it'll tell you in like a tutorial aspect what these things do. So as long as you just keep remembering, oh, there's a fox, that must mean there's a shrine nearby.
Yeah.
Or oh, there's a bird like flying somewhere in the distance. Maybe I should see what it's going after. Same with like smoke signals that are out there. Okay, that's where a quest is. So
Yeah.
It's nice that there's instead of having the same thing of the mini map here and the fucking like thing on the top of your screen saying go do this, and then like
Yeah.
all these little markers saying okay, but in 300 meters there's this, and 500 meters there's this, and overloading your screen. Now it's here's everything, fucking go find shit.
So is there no map at all?
There
in
is a
this
map
game?
if you hit the start menu, but it's not on your screen.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Spider-Man map, only there's no mini map at all. Like,
Okay, so you can't like go on the map and mark a location and there's a compass taking you there?
Well, no. What'll happen is you'll mark the location, and then you use a button prompt to have the wind point you where to go.
yeah, so you'll see the
But
wind go with
there's
some
no
waves and you
glowing
go.
cursor in the distance telling you that that's where it is. because it shouldn't be in feudal fucking Japan.
Okay, that's not too bad then.
No, it's
The way
it's,
I was-
it's still giving
It's
you a
very
way
good.
to follow, because otherwise it would be like Morrowind giving you no help. But
Yeah.
Okay. That's not bad.
it's
because
it's
very
trying to
intuitive,
find
honestly.
ways to do it without overloading your screen with so much fucking text.
which I can appreciate because sometimes it's like you'd like to see the entire.
You want to
screen
actually
as-
like
makes the
enjoy the
game
thing
look-
that you're staring at.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
the game look beautiful. Like not having a HUD at all, or pretty much no HUD. Like it's, oh my god.
The
Like,
only
I
other
rewatched
thing
it
I
today.
learned from that trailer though is that I am going to put all my points in Ghost stuff because I would much rather play Ghost.
Oh fuck yeah! Like I'll samurai a couple people, but then I'm just ghosting and assassinating the fuck
Oh,
out of
if
everyone.
there's like a person in the distance, I'll solo the fuck out of him. But if there's a bunch of people, fuck actually having to try. No, I'm fucking with people.
Yeah. Oh, those
I am
assassinations.
stabbing a guy in the throat with an arrow. Fuck that.
Yeah, I loved it. And the headshot looked so powerful.
Oh, they
from that
they
one
they, ma- they
headshot.
make critical hits look so satisfying.
Yeah, like
Oh,
you could
that is
feel
so
it.
great.
I can only imagine on the controller, like the shaking stuff, like it's gonna feel.
Oh man, like imagine
like you
PS5 with
headshotted
the
somebody.
haptic controllers for that.
Yeah.
Which,
Oh.
by the way, I think I talked to you guys about it, but we never talked about it on the show. But like, apparently, the rumor going around is that like it's gonna go as far as like in-game weather is gonna affect how the controller rumbles. So if it's
Yeah.
raining, it'll actually feel like
Oh.
there's
You'll
rain.
feel the rain on the controller, like the individual drops and stuff.
Like,
Which is
and that's the thing when we get
very
to the PS5 wish list. It's the little things that you like, and that's the kind of little things that's what keeps immersion.
exactly.
That's the like. And going back to Ghost of Tsushima, I'm also happy too that finally a state of play happened and people didn't get pissed off about it.
Yeah, I mean, what could you get pissed off at?
There was
Like,
no
I don't-
Last of Us. What was the Last of Us Part 2 footage? How
Oh,
come there?
go-
How come there was no Horizon 2?
Go eat an asshole.
Chris, trust
everybody.
me, when you finish The Last of Us, you will understand the fucking rage-inducing shit that apparently is happening with the sequel.
Well, I mean, he even felt
Oh, we all
when we
talked
talked about it after the show one time when we went through the leak. Even then, like
Yeah.
he could recognize that it's bullshit. And then once he finishes
Yeah.
the game, he'll be like, so that it'll just be even more bullshit.
In my head, there will be no sequel.
All right,
I mean,
would
I can't wait to see what
Okay.
the reviews are going to be like because this game will be out in less than 30 days. I think it's out like June 19th or
Yeah,
something.
June something.
it's
Yeah.
like I said, this game doesn't even need a sequel. It ended off very satisfyingly.
Like,
And it was like,
if
money.
if people straight up say that it actually is still a really good game, I'll take their word for it. It's just again like I look at something on paper and I can tell when it just smells like shit. But
yeah, that story just
the game itself, for all we know, if you like The Last of Us, the game might still be really fun, but the story's going to be frustrating by the sound of it. But
Yeah.
not to tangent on that one. I mean, I guess with Tsushima, I'm not really sure story-wise what we're getting, and also they showed like, oh, we have Japanese audio too. I normally would go with that, but the problem is now it's not synced to the mouth.
Yeah, that's one
animations.
thing I noticed
So
too.
now
Yeah,
I
guess that makes
actually
it
like as much as I want to
Oh.
do Japanese, it's not synced. So now it feels wrong. So I think I'd have to actually go to English.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
so
too.
it-
I definitely
there's
want-
going to be English lip syncing, but it would be
Yeah, it's in the same
Japanese.
thing as like with an anime when
Oh.
you dub it, it just doesn't
Or
look.
a-
They try as best as they can to keep the mouth animations there,
Or
but it's
an-
just you can't.
or a Hollywood movie dubbed in
in
Hindi.
any
It
language other
doesn't
than its
work.
original material. So that's the downside, but I mean it's good that they at least provided the option, which I'm very happy they did because it would be kind
Yeah.
of strange to not do that, to be honest.
Yeah.
And from the
Yeah.
dialogue they showed, it seems like they didn't half-ass it either. It sounds like it should belong. So
Oh yeah, the voice acting in the Japanese part was like amazing. Like it was definitely spot on and fit.
if they could sync the facial animations, I would play it in Japanese with subtitles without
Oh,
question.
I would have 100% done that with English subtitles. Easy. Like I would not have played the game in English even a little bit.
Because if there's anything I've learned is that Japanese voice actors fucking know how to do emotion. Play a Yakuza game, especially you, Chris, because you still haven't yet. Play a Yakuza game and you'll understand why I'm so happy they never put English voice acting in those games. The spin-off Judgment did have it. I tried it for about 5 seconds and I immediately went, nope, this is stupid, and put it right back. Because
You
they
know what,
know
you
how to
convince
convey
me.
emotion when they voice act.
I'm going to install Yakuza 0 and uninstall Metal Gear 5 so that I can play that.
I know where you live.
Yeah, but nope, we're not supposed to go see each other yet. Have social distancing isn't unlocked.
I will risk the arrest. I will risk the arrest.
All right, well, I'll call ahead of time to let them know.
Ooh.
Yes.
Can you also
And
let me know, because if he's going to kill me,
dude, I won't kill you. I'll be really pissed, but we'll probably have a drink during or after.
and we will discuss Metal Gear 5 and then end up playing it.
Yes, exactly.
So everybody wins, especially me,
Yeah,
because I won't have to
exactly.
be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, any last thoughts before we move on?
I want Ghost
I'm.
so bad. I want it. I want it so
I'm
bad.
still not a day one on
is
it, but I'm
there
definitely a lot more
any,
curious about it than I was.
Oh, I'd be a day one, 100%.
I'm not day one. I'm gonna.
Well, I mean, I'm not
it's
day one
definitely
for
gonna be-
anything these days, so.
Yeah. This
With
is
this
one
game,
of the
is
few
there
games I would.
any? Is it going to be very grounded to the point that it's like it's all like grounded combat and everything, or is there like going to be any mythical, magical stuff at all?
They haven't tipped that part of the hand, but I don't know if it's going to be that far. I don't think you're going to be fighting dragons and shit. I don't think there's going to be that.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be like what you would expect a samurai, like an old samurai film to be.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
It's as
that
grounded as an Assassin's Creed is probably grounded.
would which isn't much.
Well, I mean, now they're starting to get a little bit more mythological with Valhalla, but I mean, again, it's more along the lines of I think this game will be a little less crazy on the stuff. I think it'll be a lot more grounded, at least in being more proficient in terms of how like they provide the battle systems, because I don't think it's going to be nearly as over the top with its going back into the past stuff. Like this is just straight up like, hey, this is taking place in this time. There's no bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's again, the game sounds incredible,
This-
and I think it'll be the swan song of the PS4.
We'll see. It depends on how long the game it goes. I mean, if we're talking exclusive, yeah, probably. But I mean, it's still gonna have like a good 4 or 5 year run before it really goes away. Because all the fun stuff will still be cross-platform for a while.
Oh yeah. Like it's
Oh,
still
yeah.
gonna have cyberpunk and stuff like that, and that may be better.
That I'm still impatiently
exclusive?
waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like when The Last of Us came out, it was like the last like epic title made for the PS3.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of
And
going on
then-
to a new generation, then
Yeah.
I guess it's
That's a
time
segue.
to go through all the things that we thought of that. And by the way, when we're talking about a PS5 wish list, this is purely like pie in the sky shit. So there's gonna be a lot of stuff here that you're gonna hear and be like, they're not gonna do that. That's the point. It's for fun. We're gonna get
And some of the stuff they're probably going to do it.
Oh, there's probably some things in here that would make sense, but let's get the biggest one out of the room, the biggest elephant out of the room here. Backwards compatibility definitely will be PS4. I think that's a given.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be amazing if you could put in any disc from any era. I don't think that's what we're getting. So what I hope. So this is like my compromise. Backwards compatibility discs between PS4 and PS5, but have more old games on either just up for download like PS2 and PS4 titles are, or just have more available in PS Now, because there's no way we can't emulate this shit. Like you should be able to play like Chrono Cross on PS Now. There shouldn't be a reason you can't. Like this is my thing. It's one thing if you can't have it emulate, like if you can't port it to PS5, that's fine, but it should be able to emulate it.
Yeah, like there should be some sort of emulator program they build into it. I mean, there's some on PC, just grab those ones and have them built into the PS5 so that they can run these ISOs or ROMs.
Like it doesn't
or
matter
whatever.
what console it's on. You should be able to play any Gran Turismo you want through streaming. Because if there's nothing, if there's no tech preventing it, you should be able to stream it. So that's just my big thing too. It's like, guys, get off your ass and put some old stuff on the PS Now library and make it worth something. Because a bunch of indie games and a few like big games just don't cut it for me. They don't. I need to see. No. I need to like. There's a lot of games I will never own because they're way too expensive to buy physically. I would love the chance to play them again. Like say Suikoden, I think 5 is the one I'm missing. And because that thing is like $100 and I can't justify $100.
No, not for that.
What system did that come out for?
PS2.
PS2, yeah.
It's just again, it's a limited print. Like there weren't that many copies in compared to like Grand Theft Auto 3.
Actually, believe it or not, what's actually a very rare print is Marvel vs. Capcom 3 for the PS2.
Well, that's probably because nobody was still playing that console when it came out.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I mean, not.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the big one. So this is the first one where I kind of had to actually think of something. This has to do with the controller. Battery life needs to be a minimum 12 hours because normally it's 4 to 8.
Yeah.
12-hour battery life if you turn the haptic off. Because if you turn haptic on, I imagine that it will suck the life up more because of the extra rumbling that it's doing. But if you can turn the option off, it should be minimum 12 hours without question.
Yep.
So that's my first one. So we'll go around the board. So I'm going to go on my screen. I'm here. Chris is to my right and Vishal's below me. So we'll go to Chris first. So you throw one out into the ether and we'll keep editing.
And Chris is there and you're there. And I'm here.
Well, that's not important because your screen's not showing here.
It's funny that you just mentioned controllers because one of the ones on my list that kind of connects with that is Xbox has these custom design controllers, like officially done through Xbox, where you get to design and pick apart all the colors and everything. With the new design of the PS5 controller, it would work so well with that.
That would
because
be great.
there's like the touchpad part or whatever it is, kind of in the middle at the top. And, it's got the different dividers. So you could have, the analog sticks be one color, the L1 and L2, R1, R2, like all the different areas and customize it. The Xbox controllers, I've made 2 because it's fun to do. You can get it engraved with whatever name you want on there as long as it's within a certain character limit and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's amazing. Like, I think that the PS5 controller with that kind of custom design, like again ordered directly through Sony would still get
because I mean it's just a paint job, right? Like for the most part it's just paint. Like it's not like we're not putting some crazy effects to it. Like we're just talking, just let us customize the colors. Like like even if it's just that, I think people would be happy with that.
Oh, I'd be all over. I'd buy one and design one day one. Like I'd get the controller with the system and design one.
If anything, Grand Theft Auto has taught us, if you get another controller, you're clear of every crime you've ever committed.
Oh, is that one way to do that? I never thought of that.
No, when you change the color of a car in Grand Theft Auto, the police stop chasing you.
Oh, yes.
I was not looking for that reference right away.
Yeah, I
know. Do you have anything, Vish?
Yeah, actually, as we were speaking, I wrote down a few. So and this is mainly for career-wise and branding-wise. The one thing I want on the PS5, and I think it's definitely going to be included, is more social media integration.
Yeah, that was definitely on my list.
So I want more of the getting Instagram involved in there and getting what's it called? Getting even now TikTok involved. So
I don't want TikTok just because I don't trust them.
I understand, and I understand what you're saying with that.
We already have enough things that we worry about because we feel like they might be tracking data. I would not want them to have any sort of access to another account like that.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you're saying. With the but this is solely for professional and branding purposes. That the social media integration I feel needs to be expanded because a lot of people just aren't using Twitter like they would have back then.
Funny thing, the Twitter, if you post anything to Twitter on PS4, it still doesn't have the upgraded character limit. It's still what the old character limit is.
That's a huge problem.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's still 140 characters. So when I post my pictures online, I have to limit what I say still because I can't fit everything in.
No.
And I think what they should do is maybe not even post it right away. Save it as a draft. So you can go in and change it before you actually upload it.
Well, what are you talking like through Twitter itself?
Yeah, so
I don't think you could pull that off because I think that would be like extra integration that Twitter would have to do, and I don't think they give a shit.
No, I get that, but it's also with the Facebook sharing, it goes to your personal profile, not to your business or brand profile also.
Well, you can set it to go wherever you want. Like in the same vein that most of the time if I actually use Facebook to send stuff to myself before I post things because I can just make it so that nobody sees it.
Oh, okay.
I think you actually can customize. I think it just depends on what Facebook account you link to it.
Okay. But I personally just feel that the social media integration is not as user friendly as it.
Oh, you're not wrong about that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They definitely need to put some up. The fact that Instagram was never put on there is insane to me, considering
it's mind-boggling
how like you would think for posting images off your console that would be the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially since Facebook and Instagram are the same fucking company, so it's not even like they got to speak to somebody different about getting that set up.
I didn't even write it down,
So
but I think a direct to YouTube thing should be great too for clips.
that's another
Yeah.
part of the social media part. It's like they need
Yeah.
to integrate it better because um, while it's fine that that Twitch and YouTube are the main ones for video streaming, there needs to be more because frankly, like get the big four in there, get Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yeah.
Get them all there
Yeah.
and get them more user friendly and done properly. And I didn't know about that, Adam, but I will definitely start doing it that way as you're suggesting.
I may even be wrong because like I'm just thinking in my head like how I was using it. I think it should be possible. It's just maybe it's a workaround. I'm not sure.
The video part may be difficult because you can't really download videos from.
Well, the video
from
part's a whole
Facebook.
different story. I'm just talking like straight screenshots because that's usually what I use it for. It's obviously we already know that like because they're changing the share button to a create button that it's definitely going to have.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot more flexibility to it. So
Yeah, there's something
Actually-
going on there.
So
like I also had on here better editing tools for video recording. I think that's a given. I think they are planning on doing something that you can at least edit your footage before you can post it wherever. I think that will be a thing that's in there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Moving back to the hardware stuff, my next thing is this has to do with the hard drive. Obviously, it has to be a minimum terabyte. Has to be minimum, given the way the
even-
games are going now.
I think a terabyte's even too small. I think it
Well,
should
I
be at
think
least
like that's
two.
why I'm saying minimum. Like I think, well, the thing is too, they've already said you're going to be able to have the ability to do extra storage, but the SSDs that they're talking about that you'll have to use are not easy to find and may be really expensive still. So my caveat is minimum 1 terabyte standard or SSD. But if you're going to have only options for SSDs that need to be used in this console, then you need to make your own that's affordable. Because if these things are going
Yeah.
to cost people hundreds of dollars, that's not good. So
But
if
it
that
could be
if that initial SSD is going to be a terabyte, you better make sure that these other ones are affordable because that's going to run out real fast.
But here's
Yeah,
the thing,
and
that
I-
could
I
be
don't-
for
yeah.
the. Sorry, dude, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and with Sony making the SSD as much as SSDs already cost, and to make the same one that they're currently making, at least when the PS5 first comes out, they're gonna be expensive.
Because it sounds like they have to be a specific set, and it's like, dude, that they
Yeah.
don't sound like
They-
they're going to be cheap.
They don't actually exist yet. That's the most expensive part of it, is that Sony's making this, and SSDs like that don't exist yet.
Yeah.
Well, they do, but Sony has it, and it's not available to the public.
Like if it
so-
comes out and they say, okay,
actually-
but this thing is if you want to get another terabyte of storage, here's $400 you need to pay. Be like, fuck that.
yeah, I imagine they'd be in the 200s.
There
but
might
still.
be a loophole behind this. So when I upgraded my Mac, I put an SSD and removed the CD drive and put the hard drive there. What possibly could happen is the initial hard drive has to be the Sony required hard drive, but there could be slots for additional storage. And nowadays, you can get 512 gig and even 1 terabyte USB sticks.
Well, here's the
So
problem.
that is a possibility.
Here's the
Yeah.
problem, though. It has nothing to do with the storage. What it sounds like is the system is running it in order to get the same speeds that you want is a very
Yeah.
specific SSD. So
You can't use any other
you
one
may
that
be able to
exists
do the hard drive, but you're not going to get the same run capability that its core SSD can do.
Some of the games may not even run. Like they'll actually just lag and and then crash because they require this speed to run, and that's going to be one of the issues.
Oh boy!
So
can
it's
you ima-
great that
I
it
can
has
only
this
imagine. I can only imagine the esports guy if that happened. There's gonna be
Yeah.
lots of videos of them like raging.
Like
Yeah.
that's going to be the core issue, and that's why I said like, okay, this thing needs to be minimum a terabyte. I would prefer 2, but I don't know if that's even affordable in that thing without it being like a massive loss for them. But if that's the case,
Yeah.
like we got to find a way to make this shit affordable because in the early days, then it's going to be really difficult, especially when games keep getting bigger and bigger in terms of size.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, you got your next one up?
Yeah. So we mentioned briefly already some backwards compatibility and stuff like that, and it's pretty obvious. Like putting a PS2 disc or PS3 disc in the system is not probably going to work or whatever. But something that I find a lot of the systems don't have, and it boggles my mind why it's not possible, because it's a software issue and not really a hardware issue, is digital backwards compatibility. So on the PS4, if you buy something like Shovel Knight, like why is Shovel Knight not able to just also be re-downloaded on the PS5?
I mean, I would
Like, why
assume at this point that that's what's going to happen, because now that everything's connected, it should, in theory, and that's why I even said the same thing in the chat. I'm going to look into that because I want to make sure if I get the new console and pass the PS4 off to my girlfriend so she has something to use, that I know that I can still access the stuff that I would want to go back and play.
Yeah, like
That's
it's like I'm talking even indie games and stuff like
Yeah,
that, which
yeah.
are
I
cannot
have
be
the Scott
complicated.
Pilgrim game on my PS3.
Yes,
Like-
and it would not carry forward to the PS4. It just wasn't possible.
That fucking made me rage.
That one,
And that's actually,
you know what? That one I at least understand though, just because the the hardware that happened on the PS3 is so much different from what the PS4 was that I think there might have actually been a compatibility issue because they can use completely different equipment for the new console. So now there shouldn't be an excuse because they're literally using similar software or similar
because
hardware.
the PS4 and the Xbox One, when they first released, and I was looking at the hardware and stuff, they were just mid-range PCs at the time when they released. Like, it's the same architecture. So if somebody had made a game, say, for Steam or PC, in theory, it would be very easy to port it over to both the PS4
and the same would go the other way around. That's why you can probably
Yes.
that's why we can see Horizon suddenly be on PCs.
Yes, which was not possible with PS3.
Yeah,
Like, the
you would
PS3
not
was
get The
completely
Last of Us on PC. You would not get any, like, if Nintendo owned a PC company, Nintendo wouldn't be able to put their stuff on a PC because it's not the same architecture.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, so digital backwards compatibility for me, because that was one of the reasons I didn't get a PS4. I had bought everything digital on PS3 because I thought if I have any chance of this carrying forward, this is what I would need. And
that was the big challenge for me moving from 360 to PS4, was knowing that I couldn't take anything with me.
Yeah, and that was one reason I went PC. I mean that's, I'm obviously not going down that road specifically uniquely anymore. But yeah, like it's definitely something that I would love in the new system, and feel like it's actually a possibility that it'll happen. Maybe not every game,
I think it should be a lock.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
All right, Vish, what's the next thing you got?
Okay, so Chris mentioned the DLC carryover. That was my big thing. Let's see, what's one I can... So one thing I think would be a little helpful, and this goes again with the social media integration, is screenshots that could be transferred one way or another to somebody and be transferred into it's called a RAW format. It's the most expansive image format. It's not as compressed as JPEG. There's a lot of visual.
So basically like a lossless transfer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you get a lot of, with Adobe Illustrator, if you were to use a JPEG file as opposed to a RAW file, if you were to change a certain color, let's say red, you get a lot more of the red in a RAW file than you would with a JPEG. So that is one thing I think would be a great option, is to do a screenshot, but you can do the screenshot in a RAW format, even if it's just connected with a USB stick to the console itself. So you can download it after, and so you can just edit it and make it a little fun almost. So just for like some fuck around with it, and even just to like share it with, if someone's a photographer or a designer. Again, I'm purely looking at it as like ways to integrate it in a business format, in a creative professional format.
So you're doing the boring shit. Okay, got it. No.
I have more coming up. I just Chris mentioned the backwards DLC.
I'm literally just going in order here because all the small stuff will be more interesting to get through towards the end. This one's the big pipe dream because it technically doesn't even exist yet. Like, it's not been actually released in most devices.
Virtual sex doll.
But it should be around the end of this year, so it could make sense that they do it. But I would love to see the main 2 ports on the PS5 be 4.0 USB, because they should be starting to come out towards the end of this year. And I would say, if possible, 2 in the front for 4.0, and then have 2 in the back that are 3.0 for like extra hard drives and shit, or for anything else.
A lot of machines nowadays are not like, especially Apple. Fuck Apple. Even though I'm using a Mac right now, a lot of machines nowadays, they're not giving enough USB ports anymore at all.
Yeah,
So that is a fucking like huge thing.
I went laptop shopping last year, and almost every laptop had just 2, and most of them aren't even USB; they're USB-C.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're looking at like, oh, you can just use Bluetooth. Like, I don't want to fucking use Bluetooth.
Yeah, Bluetooth is not the greatest all the time. It's just not.
But yeah, USB 4 would be really, especially with the fact that you'll have SSDs going in as well. So
yeah, and they probably helps. Needed. Yeah.
Yeah. That's my big pipe dream one, because I think that one might not be possible just because the tech isn't technically available yet. But neither Sony's SSDs, so you never know.
That's true. They may be putting it in there and helping be one of the companies that actually helps build it.
I mean, that's one of the ones I don't expect, but if it happens, I'll be like, shit, I was right.
Yeah. Oddly enough, yours kind of ties into the one that's next on my list. I actually, because I don't think the PS4 has this, but one USB-C port.
And I can't tell you if that's for sure, because I don't know I'm not well versed enough to know what the difference is.
USB-C is what an Android phone charger looks like. iPhone, like your Android phone charger.
Okay.
Like it's just it's a small circle.
Oh, okay. Sorry, the one that I guess
right in the middle, right there.
Because what I charge my controller with is actually what the normal thing is. So I guess that's a different one. Okay.
Yeah.
I've actually heard rumors that might be what they go. Because now that I think about it, I remember seeing that, and they were saying, "Oh, it might actually be going to this cord." And I'm like, "What the fuck's this one?"
So the
I know what it is now. I just didn't. I don't remember the name to it.
Yeah.
But I've actually heard rumors that might actually be what they go with for the new controller. So.
Yeah, so actually I might as well then combine these two, because the other one was for the controller to have the USB-C as well, because if you're already having that port. But the reason is because there's so many peripherals now, like the headphones I'm using right now have an actual dongle. So it's not just Bluetooth, so you don't have to rely on that. The dongle is obviously more reliable. And I got a specific dongle that's USB-C, because you can plug it into the bottom of an Android phone, and then you get these.
Yeah.
You can pick up your Switch, plug it in the bottom of your Switch, and you get these headphones while you're doing your portable gaming. The laptop I'm using right now, my MacBook, has 2 USB-C ports only. Put the dongle in there, boom, you get it. My PC, USB-C port, put it in there, boom, same thing. I want it to be so that and this is kind of selfish on my part, but I think a lot of people run into this with USB-C ports, to just have one and not have to buy like an adapter where it's a like normal USB and it's a little cable with the USB-C on the end. To be able to just plug that dongle right into the back or front or side of the PS5, that means I can use these headphones on my PC or my Switch, unplug the dongle, plug it in the PlayStation 5, and then just keep gaming with these headphones.
I mean, I do like the wireless headphones that they have, because it's the same thing. You just plug in the dongle and you go.
Absolutely.
So it's I love the fact that those options are available now, especially cheap, because the wireless headphones you can usually get for under $60 if you wait for a sale. So
yeah, absolutely. And USB-C seems to be kind of becoming the normal for a lot of charging cables.
Yeah, it has been.
Controllers, like the Switch Pro controller, USB-C. My MacBook is actually just a USB-C controller, a cable that goes from one end to the other, and then the actual wall plug isn't even normal USB. It's a little USB-C plug now. So it's like USB-C to USB-C, and that's kind of neat, because you can do, it doesn't matter which end of the cable you use. I totally get it for charging cables. Phones, like all Android phones, are using this. Apple iPads are now using it, and they're saying the new iPhones are going to be it. Like everything for charging is just going to be USB-C.
Yeah, I think that's too why a lot of people are starting to see that it's probably going to happen.
iPad Pros. And I think, any iPad, the new ones over a certain size. And I think like next year, it's just going to be all of them going forward.
Yeah. Vish, you're next up. What you got?
Okay. Something I think would be fun is a Spotify integration.
There is. Already exists.
Okay, then I will skip that one.
Spotify is an app, and it actually you can have it on while you're playing games.
Yeah, that's one thing that I do love that consoles have brought in, because I like on PC I have the Spotify app, but it's not like it's integrated. It's just on Windows, if you hit play, it'll automatically play your Spotify. So I've got to.
And it actually automatically plays it at a much lower volume too, so it doesn't supersede your game.
Yeah, and I think that's just like one of the greatest features ever.
So you can listen to Chrono Cross music from the best game ever while you're playing fucking Metal Gear Solid, because why wouldn't you?
Or if they put Chrono Cross on the store, you could listen to the Chrono Cross soundtrack while you played Chrono Cross on PS Now.
Oh yeah, that might be pushing it. That'd be Chrono Cross Inception.
That's the Inception.
Wait, if there's Chrono Cross Inception, would that just not become the third Chrono Cross game?
We found it. We found out where it is.
We figured it out,
guys. So I'll skip the Spotify thing because I never knew that actually existed. Okay, here's one I think could work. And again, I'm looking at it more of like the branding aspect of it, is integrating a Bluetooth keyboard while playing the game.
Is that not possible?
Yeah, I think you can connect Bluetooth.
Keyboard while you're playing the game. So if you were to go with the create feature, and you go into
I have a USB one that plugs in like the same way that I plug it into my laptop, and I use that. I don't know about. So I'm assuming Bluetooth should. I think.
Yeah. No, but I'm wondering though if, for example, you use the share button, and it will connect to both the controller and the keyboard. So when you are ready to share
when I share screenshots, I have like not a Bluetooth version, but I have like that little tiny thing that comes in like your mouse that you plug in wirelessly.
Yeah, the USB dongle.
Yeah, that I use that and it'll work. I'm not sure about Bluetooth. I would imagine
while you're playing though.
While I'm playing, well, I mean, at the same time, no, because if you're playing a game, you can't do both. But if I literally hit the share button to go put a screenshot to Twitter, the keyboard works.
So the integration that's on my wish list is that if you were to press the share/create button, if the priority switches from the controller to the keyboard, and you can put in your caption.
I need to understand this. What are you using this for? Because it probably should already exist.
For the social media
then it probably is already possible. That's one thing. I'm trying to think if it was like some alternate use. I'm like, well, I mean, people play Final Fantasy 14 with a keyboard on PlayStation. That's why I'm like trying to figure out what you were going with. If it's just typing shit, typing shit, it's already doable with just basic USB. So Bluetooth, it should probably already exist.
Yeah. Okay. And if it isn't, then it should be there. But I can do you one better on that. Because like right now, say I went onto the Apple TV and I went to search for a show on Netflix or whatever. I go to any search, automatically on my phone, it brings up a keyboard. If they had an app for PlayStation you could put on your phone that as soon as it comes up with text, whenever you have to type in a character's name or, you're sharing to Twitter and it brings up, here's where you put in all your hashtags and everything, to just have your phone automatically get the keyboard and you can just type it out without having to do it on the screen.
You're right. That actually would be a better interface because I save my hashtags on Google Keep. So most of the time, if it's not anything customized required, I'll copy and paste it because typing on a fucking phone is a nightmare. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no work around it.
Going back to hardware, this has to do with the resolution and has to do with the speed of it.
4K.
You're taking my next
frames
one.
a second.
So
you're stealing my next one.
I think it has to be 4K at 60. If it's not possible because it just still isn't enough for that thing to handle for every game, then bare minimum, you have to have the option for 4K at 30 or 1440 at 60 minimum.
That is my exact point.
That is unacceptable if it cannot do that at least.
You fucker, you took my point. I was very proud of that one. Option 4K 30 or 1440.
If you can't do 4K at 60 already, then that option needs to be there. You can't demand us to only do 4K at 30. You have to have a 60 frame option in there. It's 2020. A console should be able to do 60. The old consoles back in the 8-bit and 16-bit days were doing more than 60. There's no reason that we can't do 60 on a console today.
Because I would definitely do the 1440 60 frames if that was between the two.
Yeah, if there was no way to do 4K at 60 guaranteed, then if I had the option, I'd probably do the 60 frames more often.
Yeah.
It just depends on the game. Like if you're playing one of those walking simulator games, like then it makes sense to do 4K at 30 because who gives a shit? You're just looking at pretty shit. But if we're talking like a Call of Duty or anything like intensive, you want the 60 frames. Oh, yeah. Like you need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ghost of Tsushima, to be 60 frames would be fucking incredible.
I mean,
regardless
honestly,
of the
because of how
resolution.
beautiful that game is, I'd probably try both just to see how it looks. Just for curiosity's sake. But like, if we're talking multiplayer games, man, 30 frames is unacceptable for a console now. Unacceptable.
Yeah.
So since I stole your answer, what else you got, buddy?
Well, I've got one that kind of ties in with Vishal's about the social stuff. Because that's actually been my complaint of a lot. I don't have a PS4, as you guys know, and everybody listening now, you know. My complaint on Switch, on PC, like the social aspect of the gaming is not like just really there. Like they're on Steam. Yes, you can go to the friend activity. Excuse me. And you can see everything that people have unlocked and everything, but you've got to go and find it. On PS4, if what I know is correct, on the main screen there's like a what's new section, I think it is, and it's like, here is all the screenshots and the achievements, and this person's no friends with this person, like I want that. Like I want them to keep that. And then, yes, when it's like somebody posted to Twitter, maybe just add that right in there. Because if people don't want to look at that,
even go a step further and be like, hey, like phone integrate that so I can get updates through my phone so I can see what's going on.
Absolutely, yeah. Because like right now on the PlayStation app, I open it and yes, it will show who's unlocked what achievement and who started playing a game for the first time. That's all you really see. I want it to be like Vishal has played this game for the first time. Here's his 3 screenshots he took, and this one he posted to Twitter, and here's what he wrote on Twitter. Like, I want to see the social feed.
Like you can follow people on PlayStation, but yeah, it's not like it's just right there in your face. Like you have to dig into it. So
yeah, I want it to be like a Twitter feed or an Instagram feed or like all that.
Well, you know
stuff.
what? I'll tie this one in because it kind of works out kind of nicely in that. You remember PlayStation Home, right?
Yes. Oh wow, I forgot about that.
What I would love them to do, I don't want them to go full open world shit again with PlayStation Home, but I'd say here's a cool idea. You have a choice between either starting with the game's like main user interface, which I'll get into later, or you have the option of starting in what you would call your home, which is like a game room or a bedroom, whatever you want to call it. And it has like posters on the wall that you can unlock by finishing a game, and that's on there with a TV screen. But you can also have like a thing that's all like almost like you're looking at your desk or something, and it's showing like a phone, and it immediately pulls up like just all that relevant stuff.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. That would be super cool.
That'd be really
I forgot
good.
about PlayStation Home. How did I forget about Home?
Because like the one thing that I never understood why they didn't try a little bit harder with is stuff like that. Because I remember on Xbox loving customizing my avatar. That's another thing too. PlayStation doesn't have an avatar. It's just you pick a screen. Xbox, you create your own little character that ended up being you. I used to wear a Batman and Robin like Robin shirt just because it had the R, just so it would be radical. So like
radical.
Stuff like that. Like even just to give yourself somewhat of an image, like that kind of stuff I think would be kind of neat. And the fact that they still don't do it, it's just kind of weird. Because they tried it with PlayStation Home. It didn't work. It also got a little bit weird because people kind of turned it into something it wasn't supposed to be. But, you know, like I said, if you just limit it to being your own personal thing, I think that could work.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Vish, what's next on yours?
So, here's one that is, I thought would be just convenience, essentially. So, and this is actually, I was thinking about it after playing Metal Gear Solid 5. Because Metal Gear Solid, like Adam, how many have you played? Have you played a few of them?
I mean, have I finished any? No, but I've played pretty much every Metal Gear, ironically enough.
Oh.
In some aspect, I never own most of them, so I usually just play them in passing.
Well, you should. So Metal Gear is known for having lengthy cutscenes. Like, to the point, it's like, you need to take a piss during them. It's that lengthy. So what I was thinking of having an integration with a phone or tablet, or if it's a
you're talking remote play that exists on phones now, actually.
No, not the play. Just like if you're going through a cutscene that's extremely lengthy and there's no real extensive gameplay required. It's more like
it's still remote play. Like you just watch it on your phone and then pause it when it's done.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just looking at it like you can just watch the cutscenes themselves.
But that doesn't make any sense because now all of a sudden game designers would have to code in that only this is available. Like that ends up becoming like a huge burden. Like I said,
cutscenes it's themselves aren't really interactive.
no,
They're
no, no,
just
no, no. What you're not understanding is
like it's a
that they would
movie.
have to program it so that it stops recording on your phone, which is just like that's extra coding that they shouldn't have to do for a game. It already makes sense if you can already just play a game on your phone, like just stream it to your phone. Like the only thing, the difference is that it would shut off your console, or you have to whatever else. Like it could just be as simple as, hey, you just turn on your PlayStation, you hit like your main button and say, hey, cast a phone, and it just does it like that.
Okay, that's essentially what I'm looking at.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Like
you
remote
made it
play,
sound like
but-
you only
but
wanted
2.0.
to do cutscenes. It's like, no, that's gonna be a pain in the ass to do.
No. So
Because it already technically already exists. It's just not like instant.
So for example, like again, I'm looking at it as like a game like Metal Gear that has
No, I
notoriously
understand
long
what you're doing. It's just like
cutscenes.
I feel like the only thing that's missing is it's not instantaneous. It's more like you have to take extra steps. Like it isn't as simple as just hitting the button and it's done.
Or it could
Yeah,
be it's an unlocked server. It's a locked server, and it goes by username. So when
Again,
you guys
it seems like excessive. Like it would just be simpler just to cast. Like
Yeah, like Steam has that right now where when you do the remote play on the phone, like you open Steam Link on your phone or tablet or whatever, it's instantaneous. If you're in the middle of the game and you open the app and hit play, it just takes the screen from the TV. It doesn't get rid of it, but it also starts
it's like
streaming
having a
to your
second
phone.
window.
Yeah, so you can take it with you, and then all you have to do is press the Steam button on the controller or like the Steam icon on the touchpad if you didn't attach your controller.
Okay.
And in the overlay of games, the bottom one or second bottom one is stop remote play. And you select that, it turns off the phone, but the game's still going on the TV.
For all I know, the PlayStation one may be instantaneous. I just don't use it, so I wouldn't know. I would assume you have to like go through a little bit of menuing to get to it. I don't think it's like instant.
Yeah.
No,
If they
this
can
is
make
more
it
of like,
instant, I think, yeah, that'd be good.
It's like what you were describing, that PlayStation 5 is looking and Xbox One X is looking more at the convenience aspect of gaming and speed. So it's like, okay, I'm done this boss battle, but I'm really tired. I want to go to bed. So you can actually carry the tablet or device with you and watch the video portably rather than having to wait there. And then I'm just looking at more of a convenience aspect. So that would be
Oh, yeah,
using on my
absolutely.
wish list.
Or you can not be a
I've done
whiny
it.
bitch and just finish the game like a man fish.
No, I've definitely
finish
done
the
this with
fucking
some
game.
PC game.
I've
I've absolutely done that where I've gone to my
and-
tablet and
and
gone into the bedroom
obviously-
and just let it play.
Obviously, this is definitely going to be all of our on our wish list. It's a special feature. Madden 2022.
All right,
So
I'm kicking you
yes.
from the fucking chat, you piece of shit.
Also,
He's kicked.
If I'm gonna wish list, it'd be like ban Madden from it so you can fucking shut the hell up about it.
dude, I'm
That would
with
be
you.
amazing.
Like fucking ban EA completely from PlayStation 5.
So, anyways, my last one on hardware, and this one I would hope they do anyway, but because I love options, release a separate version of the console. Obviously, won't happen now because it's the first run. But
Yeah.
as soon as we get a good run going in, release a console that is discless.
I'm sorry.
like $100
I'm sorry
off,
to do this.
discless.
I'm sorry to do this because I really
Why?
want to hear your stuff. I need to use the washroom. I'm sorry. I want to hear your stuff. That's the only thing.
All right, we're taking a break because this asshole can't stay still for 30 minutes.
I apologize.
No, don't apologize. Go. Shoo.
Okay. It's
You
over
know
there.
what? We're not even taking a break. We're just going to talk shit about you while you're gone. I knew I should have taken a proper break.
Oh yeah, we didn't take a break.
Well, because I figured we were
noticed.
doing so well, we just keep going through.
Yeah, we definitely were.
I mean, going back to like the backwards, I'm figuring I might as well just talk about backwards compatibility some more. It's one of those things that like I think now they don't have an excuse to bring, because obviously with PS4 now being its own hardware and PS5 is just an upgrade of it, there should be that link, whether it's a digital copy or a physical copy. It shouldn't be any question. I think people got a little bit too overhyped because there was that patent that came in about emulating discs from older consoles. I think everybody just assumed, oh shit, they're doing it. I have like a 5% hope to it now, but I think realism's kind of sunk in and went, no, this is not. I don't think it's actually possible, especially with what they're also trying to do in this console. Like, if they weren't trying to do all this other shit, I think you could, like, if it was just a slight graphical upgrade and then all this, that's different. But because of the SSD and the 3D audio and the haptic tech, like, there's too much going on that I don't think they'd have room to fit this in as well.
No, and it would make the console expansive, like, because you'd have to have a bit of a PS3 processor in there, a bit of a PS2, PS1. I'm sure the 1 and 2 aren't too bad, but putting a PS3 processor and fitting it in there too?
Well, and that's where I come into play too. If you're going to do the whole backwards compatibility thing, you got to make things available digitally then, because there's just no excuse.
Sorry
Like
about
there's no excuse. Well, don't apologize. Don't interrupt our podcast. there's just no excuse for having all these games from 3 different generations that you can't play because it's hard. Emulation is so like, especially PlayStation games. There's no reason that nothing on the PlayStation library that you can license, especially, like, it's one thing if there are games that, like, musically, like Tony Hawk games, you can't do because the music, that's different. But there shouldn't be any excuse for any, like, Square Enix game, any, like, Sony, like, Legend of Dragoon should be on fucking PS4 or PS5.
Yeah, 100%.
Legend of Dragoon should have a sequel or a remake.
But even just the original game, without even being touched, there's no reason that shouldn't be able to be emulated. There's no way. Because a PC, like a shitty PC, can do it now.
Okay, Blame can do it.
So this is what I was going to go with before you so rudely interrupted me for the, I know the 10,000th time that bingo card's like burned to death at this point. They should be for at least, like, I would say $100 less as soon as we get a good run of consoles in, have a discless version for $100 less.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would even,
actually, that would be amazing.
So if you're not the guy that cares about collecting discs, then just get that version.
Yeah, which would make sense. Like, I'm pretty sure, was it Xbox that did
Xbox
that?
already does it, yeah.
Yeah, the Xbox One's sad.
Are the games cheaper on it?
No, you're just hoping for game sales on
the console itself was only like $200.
You're basically, like, that's the only thing too. You're taking a risk when you get that console because now you're just abiding by the store's prices. You have no other option. That's the risk people run. I'll quickly move on to a user interface one since this one was shorter. So the main thing, and this is a big one for me, the apps in PS4 is a garbage system because the interface for the apps are slow as shit and you can't pin any of them separately. So if you want Netflix, you have to go into the apps menu and then wait for it to all load and then pin Netflix. You can't, like, in the same way that you can take a game and put it separate or put it in a folder, you can't do that with apps. Apps are untouchable.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which is silly. You should be able to either make it solo, because if I just want Crunchyroll, if it's the only app that I use, or YouTube or whatever, I should be able to just pin that to my main screen and that's it. So I don't have to wait for the screen to load. And if Sony, you're not going to do that, then fix the UI so it's not a slow piece of shit. It looks like an old Windows 98 PC trying to load because it's laggy as shit when you try to use it for the first time.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks. I did not know that.
Like, that's a silly one. That's one that I'm like, man, there's no excuse for that not to exist.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Chris.
That is painful.
I mean, I'll just add on this one small one, which I don't even think is actually a Sony thing.
Also, let me know if you guys run out, because my list is still going.
I've got some.
Your list is ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
This is just a small one, so I'll just say it to get it out there, because we're already talking about, like, the apps. I would love if they had, like, yes, as you say, Adam, improve all the apps, because, like, if they're going to take forever to load and have shitty UIs within them and all that, like, no, give them the modern ones, keep them updated. If it's going to be a high-end PC, you can run these freaking apps. If a TV,
the run speed of the apps isn't the problem, but the problem, like, okay, when you all up the main screen, there is a single icon that takes you to the apps screen.
Yeah,
that thing takes forever to load. It's always buggy. It's always laggy the first time you use it. It should be instant because it's just fucking apps.
Yeah, they're not games. They're not full-on 80 gig games. Yeah. So one thing that I've found, and again, I don't think this is a Sony thing. I think this is an Apple thing. One thing personally, and this is me being obviously selfish, I would love there to be an Apple streaming app, like the iTunes app, for example. Reason being is because I have a lot of content on there that I've collected over
Yeah,
the
you got
years.
like a lot of movies on there, don't you?
Shit ton, like, because a lot of Blu-rays came with the free iTunes code, and I actually went digital that way.
I would
I
say that's
acc-
definitely the pipe dream because there's no goddamn way Apple and Sony are gonna play nice.
Yeah, they're not going to play nice. Well, maybe because like the Apple
Yeah,
TV last summer, they upgraded that the Xbox One and PS4 controller now connect to the Apple TV.
Oh,
I'll
that's
get
interesting.
into
And
that.
they've made it fully integrated.
I'll get
It's
into that in a
actually kind of-
second because this has to do with Spider-Man. But go ahead.
Or you can just do
Oh.
it now because it ties in.
No, it's Chris isn't done.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that to have that app, because they've started adding that to like the Amazon Fire Stick got it, and a couple other things. And Apple has that Apple TV Plus or Apple, I can't remember
Yeah,
what the fuck it's called, streaming service, which is okay. But the thing is, it's connected to the iTunes library. So when they add that app here, it's like, hey, join our streaming service, but also anything you own, here it is as well to stream. Just to have that on there would be amazing. But again, that's only for people that have movies or shows already on there. And it would work for music, because if you own any music, it shows up there too. So they could, I guess, incorporate that. But I'm talking more of the videos. So that's a pipe dream. That's selfish, but I figured I'd just say it.
Yeah.
So that actually could be a reality because the whole Spider-Man situation with Sony and Marvel, one of the loopholes in that agreement is if Sony gets purchased by another studio, the rights for Spider-Man go directly back to Marvel. So there's a rumor floating around about Sony being purchased by Apple. So there is a chance.
I hope not,
Well,
because
you're-
I don't want to ever own something that Apple makes.
You may have to. But that's a
Microsoft, I am going to be yours in this next generation.
No, the name itself annoys you.
No,
Xbox
the
One.
company themselves annoys me.
Oh, okay. So there's a chance what you're asking for could potentially happen because it was when this rumor came out about Apple buying Sony that they're like, hey, about this Spider-Man deal, you want to work something out? So
Not to mention, I'm just tired of monopolies. I'm so fucking tired of every company buying somebody. Like, Jesus Christ, guys. Like, how is the government not stepping in and stopping that? Because at some point, this is a conflict of interest.
yeah.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
again,
I mean,
it's all-
if the app shows up, that would be great. Just because, I mean, it's showing up on like Amazon, which is definitely a direct competitor to Apple.
Yep.
Like when it comes to the streaming and everything. So hopefully they can just pay Sony a bit or whatever to put the app on there.
But
So
anyways,
Apple-
enough about Apple, because I don't want to talk about them anymore. You got anything else there, Vish?
Yeah, so I think one thing that would be kind of cool is a more advanced controller feedback system.
As in what?
For example, if you're playing a racer and you're turning left, the controller's kind of making you turn this in the other and turn
Well,
right.
if you mean wait, that's probably not going to be able to happen because the haptic is going to take up most of that controller.
Yeah, but I think like it's not even like just the sensation of like, oh, I'm going right.
Well,
No,
and
I gotta
that's
turn this
probably
way.
what the controller is going to be because it's haptic feedback in that controller. Like we just said earlier in the show, like you're going to be able to feel rain in games. So
Yeah,
that's
So
probably
what
a thing happening.
That's the only thing I'm looking at is like the controller is a lot more interactive when it comes to feedback of gaming movements.
Yeah, I think that's already a lock. I think they've already guaranteed it because they already kind of just showed it off.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Gran
hopefully.
Turismo and Twisted Metal, you're going to be like,
You are going to feel explosions so good.
yeah.
love that.
You're going
I
to feel
love
like
that.
you just died.
No, I love that, and I think that's gonna.
You
it's
love dying?
gonna
Okay, well, here we know. Vicious suicide. All right, get some help. Actually, Vish already does need some help, so he's just getting...
Exactly. No, I love that interactivity, and I think it would be really cool to be part of the gaming, and the fact that it's interactive this time instead of just being like an impact force is going to be fucking revolutionary.
Well, I mean, they already explained it too. Like, if you play like a game like a Tomb Raider, you pull him back an arrow and a bow, you're gonna feel the fuck out of that. So, let's see. The last thing I got for just like interface stuff is I'd love to have the ability to do custom themes in full. We have the ability to do wallpapers, but I want more. Give us the chance to actually replace the icons and even change the sound effects up. I know that's a pipe dream because they would probably find a way to be like, well, there might be copyright if you do that, but
yeah, because
it's my console. How the fuck is anybody gonna find out?
Yeah. Yeah, especially I wouldn't imagine Sony would like it if you could change the music and you put the Wii Shop music.
Well, here's
in
the thing, right?
If
I own a Persona theme and it has icons changed to Persona icons and the sound effects have Persona sound effects. There's no reason that I couldn't make my own .hack one where the original sound effects I could use there. It would make sense. Although, to be fair, people would abuse that and it would just be like endless troll sound effects.
Yes, 100%.
So I get into the fun stuff now because I just quickly glossed over that last one. So this is the first fun one. Most of this stuff has to do with what Steam already does too, so go figure. The ability to remote play with more than just one person.
Yes.
So in the case of like playing a game like Overcooked, being able to help stream that to 3 other people.
Or a Jackbox game even.
Well, Jackbox, you just need one screen. That's not the same thing. I'm talking like full like a local co-op kind of game, but remotely, like how we played Duck Game that one time.
Yeah, Duck Game. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one I think is a big one.
I think Sony would benefit hugely from it.
So that's that one. We'll move back to you, Chris.
I'm running low. I do have.
I'm like halfway.
Well, oddly enough, I actually had that remote play together one. So you took that one.
You're welcome.
Yeah, of course you are. I have one here, but honestly, again, it's more of a wish list that's not going to be Sony. It's up to the developers. But I just would love more cross play and cross save.
I think we'll definitely see that now.
Yeah, I think cross play is pretty common.
I said in the very beginning, the reason why Sony really hasn't done much about it is because Sony doesn't have to.
Yeah. Because
they own the market. Like, they know they don't need to worry about shit. So when people got pissed off, I'm like, guys, you're wasting your breath. They're not going to go that far.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Now that it's an even playing field again, I guarantee you they do it. It's not even a question.
I think it should definitely be something to do. And then even like cross save. I know that's more of a developer thing because they have to have the servers. The Sony cross like cloud saving is not going to connect with a PC or Switch or something. Like, it's not going to happen. But like a lot of developers have done it, and they did it with Civilization 6. Like, if you like the PS4 one, you play it, you can, save, go load it up on PC, play, save, go load it up on Switch, play.
I mean, Sony's done it before, but just with their own peripherals. Like, you used to be able to do like between if you had copies of the game, you could go both Vita and PS4.
Yes. And I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it would just be nice if they could do more.
Yeah, but again, I don't think that's a Sony thing. I think that's developers having their own.
I think it's technically under their tutelage, but it'll be them just saying, okay, now we've put the code in that it's pretty easy to do. They've just kind of not really gone out of their way to do it since.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, it wouldn't just be Sony. A lot of other people would need to get on board, the other developers and also the other consoles. Yeah, but I mean, if we got cross-play, then cross-save would...
I mean, we already have it with some games, like Rocket League's completely cross-play. So... I think Call of Duty, the Battle Royale
Warzone?
is.
Yeah.
I think I'm assuming Fortnite would be. So I'm assuming like the major games do it. It's just going to be a matter of, okay, but more will.
Yes. And I hope most do. I think that it only benefits. I don't think that there's any real negative to it. So, yeah.
All right, Vish, back to you.
Okay. One thing I think would be cool is during the game, you can do voice texting. Or voice notes.
Yeah, I literally had voice to text. I'm surprised this doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
If it does, I haven't seen it.
So it'd be like there would be a option where if you press and hold the PlayStation button and triangle, you can respond to a message. So if Christmas be like, "Hey, how's Uncharted 7?" I'm like, "Dude, it's fucking sick. You should get it."
I'd be like, "Fuck you. Why are you talking to me?"
So
PlayStation 5 block Vishal.
So that would
That's a great wish list item.
That would be an option that I think would be great because typing and messaging on the PS4 and even on the PS3 is fucking irritating.
Like that's why I have my keyboard. It's just the problem is now I have everything. I have every USB port taken up, so now I can't use my keyboard. So it sucks. Every time I want to put a screenshot, I'm like, oh, this is gonna take forever to type.
Yeah, Yeah, it sucks.
That's why I
hate
was
that.
talking about the keyboard integration included with the
Well,
controller.
it
That
is.
way you can use 2 in 1.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think it already exists. It's just a matter of if you just don't need a USB port to use it. That's the only thing I'm not sure of. I think Bluetooth is available because there is Bluetooth available. I don't know specifically if it does that for keyboards.
See, essentially, it's not even the Bluetooth part. It's just being able to use a keyboard and a controller at the exact same
And like
time.
I said, you can. It's just I don't know if it's Bluetooth. I know that if I have to put my USB dongle in, I can use the keyboard.
Okay. So that's probably what it's going at then.
This one's one of the crazy ones. So, let's say that you and your significant other, you both have the same console. You have 2 consoles, 2 TVs. You should be able to do local co-op on 2 separate screens, so that you don't need to share one. Be able to be able to stream the same game to the other, with the same game in mind for a local co-op, and it shouldn't even be something that has to stream. If you put in 2 copies, I guess it's something that already probably happens, but just being able to do it through almost like a smart TV in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't rephrase it. I keep thinking, why am I saying 2 consoles? If you have 2 TVs and one of them is a smart TV, you can stream it to the smart TV without other software, so that you can play local co-op without a second console being involved.
So they have like a Sony Remote Play app on the smart TV,
Yes.
and it just lets you load up. Yeah. Second screen kind of thing.
So that way you wouldn't have to buy a second console, but you could still play local.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. That would be amazing. I imagine they do it on Sony TVs.
I mean, yeah, if that's the option, then that's the option. But at least make it available.
Yes, absolutely.
That was an easy one. This is the other gimmick one before I have all the small things that I have left, which is quite a bit.
All right.
There needs to be a portable option, like the Switch screen is.
Yes. Oh my god, I added on to there.
Whether it's something like the NVIDIA Shield, which is just like the small screen that's attached to a controller, that should be an available thing. I don't like the phone idea, because I don't think that without the controller is any good. Because people say, well, you can still use a controller with them, but it looks stupid on a tiny phone and it's not right in your face. Like if you have something that's right attached to it, or like a tablet with a control aspect to it. Because again, touchscreen, I hate fucking touchscreen gaming.
No, don't use I've tried it with the Steam remote.
So I'm not talking remote play. I'm talking straight up like what the Switch is, like having actual controllers to it.
So would the game be playing on the PS5, or you mean like a Vita, basically, like a new Vita?
Like essentially, like with the Switch, you can play on your TV, but you can also have something that you can connect to your console. Like in this case, it obviously wouldn't be the console itself. It would just be a screen with PlayStation controls to it.
So sorry to cut you off, Adam. I had a similar item on my wish list where they would make almost a portable version of the PS5 with the Switch interface almost.
I think that's too crazy to go, because I think that's obviously way too much out of their way to actually go out and make. But
yeah, and it wouldn't have the same. It would be like the Switch itself. I get it's Nintendo, but because of it being like a tablet size, I think when portable, it's max like 720p, and some of the games running would be near impossible.
Yeah.
To get running like portably, on the tablet.
You would basically be using this thing like it would be streaming the game to your little portable screen. Like that's really what it would have to be.
Yeah.
But I think that, and if I'm not talking like somebody bootlegging this shit. I'm talking an official Sony product that you could pay I don't know, let's say $200 for, and it's a controller with a little screen attached to it, and you can can carry it with you. Obviously, you're not carrying this out in public, but it'd be nice to have it like
Switch type interface.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I think they could definitely do it, and it would just be limited what games I guess you could get on there. Wonder how they'd do that. It'd be amazing.
I think it would end up being a streaming item.
Yeah, it would have to be streamed. There's no way beyond.
No, but the thing is, though, would you have to be on the same network, or can you be away? Like if you went to a Starbucks or something.
I don't know if they'd want to go that far, because again, that's a whole different kind of tech. I'm just talking like a screen you just stream to in your own network, like literally just like you'd be streaming it to your phone, but this time it's got the controller with it, so you don't. Or even if it's just a screen they can attach to it, like in the same way that when you charge your controller, like it just plugs into that charging cable, like that charging port, assuming a USB-C, for example, and it's just a little tiny screen that attaches to it.
Yeah, it's
so
like
you can carry it with you. It's almost like
that
carrying
Game Vice.
a Game Boy in a sense.
You know what I
like
think
that
would be
controller-
perfect? What I think would be absolutely perfect for this, and Adam is not going to like to hear this, if Sony was purchased by Apple, integrating it with the iPad and the PS5
I'm
controller.
assuming you probably already can because you can remote play with phones and tablets.
Yeah, there's
But if-
already a remote play app that you
I get
can,
that, but if
use.
Sony was to purchase Apple, they would optimize it so nicely.
No, they
Well,
wouldn't.
oddly enough,
Fuck Apple.
yeah, no, they probably wouldn't. But one interesting thing is that there's a patent out right now for Xbox where they've taken the Xbox controller, they've kind of shifted it to make it a little more Switch looking, actually, and it actually plugs into the two sides of your phone. And I have something similar to that. It's
Yeah,
Game Vice. It's
see
a
that.
third party thing, but I use it, and you can actually use it for apparently PS4 remote play, Steam remote play, or even just apps on the actual phone. So apparently, like they have this technology already in the thing, so Sony could come out with their own version. Either it comes with a screen already built in, so it looks like a Vita, but it's specific for streaming for the PS5, and it's like really, really good at doing that because it's like made for that one console only. Or they could even make a controller that's in half and it just goes on both sides of a phone or a tablet or whatever with the PlayStation controls, and do it that way. Because another thing with the streaming is you have to figure out how it connects when you leave the house, if it leaves the house. Most people just hotspot their phone or whatever, but still, they could do it. Even the Vita had built-in cellular capabilities when it came out. It wasn't great, but I mean, it could be now.
Possibly.
All right, so we're getting close to 2 hours, so I'm going to start asking the question. How many do you guys have left on your list?
I only have one, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one. I have two, but they can both be combined.
Okay, so then I'll quick fire through my list because I've got like 11 left, but they're all like relatively quicker stuff because it's all small shit. So Chris and Vish, you guys do yours, and then I'll roughly go through mine.
All right. Well, mine is price point. I think that I would love when it releases for it to be $500. I know.
I think that like it'll probably be $500, but US. So it'll be minimum $600 for us. It'll probably be more like $700, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Given the scope of that hardware, I think we're looking at $750 potentially.
Yes. I put Canadian on purpose because I'm being wishful.
That's when you're really going hard.
Yeah, because if that
PS5 comes out at $400 American, holy goddamn shit, the industry is changing.
Yeah, that would be. They'd take a loss, but they'd also.
That's not a loss. That's bankruptcy.
That's what happened with the GameCube when it first came out.
I don't think it would have had to this extent, though. No, I don't think like literally $400 US is like half the price that thing's probably worth, if not even more.
Possibly.
Which is crazy. That thing may be worth over $1,000 when it's all said and done, just from what's in it.
It's gonna be they make their money off the games and the DLC.
Well, it's always been like that, but like this is one of those ages that the scope of the hardware makes it seem like they're making more of a loss than ever before on this console.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, for sure. Them and probably Xbox too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's what I had.
My assumption is we're looking at $500 US minimum. I think it's probably going to be around that point. So we're probably looking at like $650, $700 is probably what we're looking at. Maybe a little bit more. I don't think it'll go over 800 for us.
No, that would be pretty damn ridiculous. I don't even think the PS3 released like that, and it did not go over well when it released that high. Yeah. So, but that's all I got. All the other ones have been covered.
All right, Vish, lay it on us.
One thing I thought would be fun is
I love how he starts every sentence with one thing I think will be fun.
is a media share option. And also a joining in like this while someone's playing a game. So, for example,
that I believe is available. Is it
like video? Like video?
So
I know you can stream it. I think you can have people watch your footage with you.
No, but I mean like doing a conversation like this. So it'd be like, for example, if I was playing Resident Evil 5, you didn't want to play it and Chris didn't want to play it. But I definitely did. So it'd be like you guys join me while I'm playing it.
I think you can. I think you can
right
watch somebody's game.
From what I've seen,
you would just join a PlayStation party. So you would be audio together, but then you could also watch what the guy's streaming.
And you can also start to control their game. You can give up control to the person watching your stream.
Yeah, I think you're right on that
PS4.
too. I think it does go that far.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
here's
so
what
that-
I'm trying to figure. What do you mean by the media share thing you were talking about? Or is that, or
So
was
media
that
share,
it?
for example, if I there was one time in Metal Gear where I shot a guy in the head with a sniper, but the bullet went through and killed 2 more people behind him.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was so cool.
You mean saving
so
clips?
it'd be like no, it'd be like sharing clips, being like,
That's already
guys,
something you can
check
do.
out this shot.
That's
No, but as a direct message.
You can do that.
As a direct message via Facebook or WhatsApp or anything?
Well, not with every app that you listed, but you can certainly do it. Like you post it to Twitter or something else, you can post it directly in a message to a friend if you just post it. I don't know if you can do it right away, but you can definitely do it separately after you go to direct messaging. But I know it's something you can do. Not to mention, you can have what they call communities. So you could literally just have a community that's just all your friends, and you can post the clip to there immediately. So there are already ways to do it.
Okay, that's fine.
But they can improve on it and make it where you take your clip and send it directly to one friend on your list.
And I think we're going to get a really good sense of what's capable of, because it seems like the create option is going to be a much more robust version of what we already have.
Yeah, that's exciting.
This share option is quite painfully limited, but this create option that they're looking at creating, no pun intended, is looking to be a lot more.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a lot more like YouTube based, or at least like a lot more video based rather than just being screenshots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So is that everything you got then?
Yeah, that would be it that I would be talking about. Yeah, everything else has been mentioned one way or another.
Okay, so half of it's all small stuff, half of it has to do with the store. So I'll do the store stuff quickly.
Madden?
This shut the fuck up with the Madden shit. This is an immediate thing that needs to happen, I think, anyway, right now. PS Plus needs to be 20% discounted. It's ridiculous how much you're paying for it when Steam charges you nothing for online service. So if you need to have it, minimum 20% discount. There's no reason that this thing should be $50 US per year.
Oh, is that how much it is? Just to play online?
Just to play online. And yeah, there's free games, but Epic gives that away for free and doesn't charge you to play online. Yeah, so there's no excuse. Like Pipe Dream, we shouldn't be paying shit. Like that's the thing. But if we're gonna do it, you need to take $10 off minimum. It's ridiculous how much they charge.
Free online play, but PlayStation Plus can be just a free games and
same goes for PlayStation Now.
Discount
it more. It's not worth the price from what I'm concerned.
The games lately.
That's the other thing too. Combining it would make sense too. You know what? If it was $50 for all of it, I'd probably accept that.
Yeah, it should just be combined for sure.
I would probably accept that as a trade-off.
Me too.
The games lately also on the PlayStation Plus haven't been that great.
Yeah, but that's not. You can't expect every month to be like. Everybody got pissed off with Farming Simulator and City Skylines. Guys, not every fucking month is going to be God of War. Stop. Yeah. Like every Epic game that's been put up for free hasn't been amazing. Like, come on, Grand Theft Auto was the first big one that really happened.
Yeah.
But that was that. There needs to be a refund system similar to Steam, as in like what they have is where you can refund a game within 14 days as long as you have played less than 2 hours. So you should be able to refund your stuff if you play it right away and it's a buggy piece of shit. I think that's fair. For example, apparently the Mafia 2 remaster for consoles is literally like worse than the original. Like it's actually a buggier piece of shit than the original was. It sounds like they just put a fresh coat, like a barely tried to put a fresh coat of paint. The original game is the only one that's really being worked on, apparently, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it's actually, yeah.
But yeah, there needs to be a better refund system because the refund system in PlayStation is basically non-existent.
Yeah, they definitely need something. For sure.
You should be able to, when you favorite a game, it should be wishlisted on the PlayStation Store, so if it ever goes on sale, it's a direct notification to your account. That does not happen. Because Steam literally emails you. Steam emails you when something goes on sale.
I get an email and I get a notification on my phone because I've got the app. Yeah. Like, hey, this game is on sale for this amount.
There's no reason that shouldn't be a thing on PlayStation.
Yeah.
You should also be able to gift games to people. I don't understand why that's not available.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
That's not available either. The last thing, this is more of a crazy one. You should have the ability to go into a game, because barely any company offers demos anymore. They should be able to take out like just a 15-minute excerpt of gameplay and say, play this and stream it through PlayStation Now, just so you can test, so you can see what the game's about. Because for indie games, a lot of people struggle with buying these things because they don't know what they're walking into. So
Yeah.
if you give them the option to like, let's just for example, let's say it's Cyberpunk, and you aren't sure about it, and they say, okay, here's a 15-minute set of gameplay that the company has specifically pulled out for us. It's streamed to your console. Try it, and that gives you something to deal with. And it's not cutscenes because somebody will cheat and just be like, here's 10 minutes of cutscenes and play 2 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, no, it should be random gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all in the store that I think should be. Here's all the small stuff that I had, and it's not too much else. Controller stuff, wireless controlling capability. So like just putting it on a pad rather than having to plug it in. Get rid of the wires. Discord compatibility. What?
What about the charging though? If it's completely wireless, how do you charge the controller?
How do you charge a phone on a pad?
Yeah, like wireless charging.
Okay, I thought you meant I didn't. Did you mention wireless charging or
That's
am
what I literally just said.
No, it's just a mouse pad to hold the controller.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Discord compatibility, because it's ridiculous to me that you can't talk to your friends on PC.
Yeah, that would be super
Like you
cool.
now have to have a separate device just to talk to people through that. You should just be able to. You should be able to just like you don't maybe it's not available all the time. Like maybe you can select whether it's just PlayStation, or if you can unlock a Discord one, so people that are in your PC group can also go on there, so you can all chat, rather than having to limit it.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if they did that.
That's a big one. This one I don't think is going to happen because I think this has more to do with the companies themselves. We need to stop region locking. I don't care if you think that nobody in the West is going to care about a game that's only in Japanese. There are people out here that can play it because they can understand the language.
Tell you one thing that actually bothers me a lot, and this is an EA situation, that you don't get cricket games in North America. You can't buy them virtually or
That's what I
physically.
mean. There's no reason this should be a thing.
And
yeah, like, does it cost a lot to put it on the store in other regions? No,
well,
you just
the thing
unlock
is,
it.
though,
Like, what the fuck?
a huge market because cricket is the second biggest spectator sport in the world after
And
soccer.
no one knows how it's played.
Yes,
This is true. I still don't understand it.
the thing
But I
is,
try and play it.
there's enough people here who follow and watch cricket, even casually, that a game for it would actually be successful here.
Well, it doesn't even go for anything specifically. Like, it's the fact that there are so many games. Like, in Japan alone, there are so many games that we don't get here. They get everything that we put out. Like, as far as I know, I don't think Japan ever misses out on stuff that we produce. Because it always goes there. There might be a couple of things, but it's probably small indie stuff. But, like, major Japanese games don't come to us. We missed a few Dragon Quest games, for example.
Yeah, that sucks.
His timeline doesn't make any sense.
No, that's different. Like we're talking today, like Dragon Quest games we've missed. Like there are games recently that we've missed from that series, which is insane.
Yeah.
Or for example, Phantasy Star fucking Online 2, which took like almost 10 years to come here.
Yeah.
Like this shouldn't be a thing anymore.
Yeah. It's different if it's like a translation issue and having to pay.
Even then, I don't care. I don't care. Like if it's just in Japanese, if somebody can understand the language, they should be able to play it on their console here. Like that's what I mean. Like there's no excuse for it.
Warning, no English available or something. But yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It should be a pop-up screen that just says, "Hey, this game is only available in Japanese."
Yeah.
Like just do that. Like it's not hard. And if you had a refund system too, people could also fix that problem.
Yep. Give it a try.
And then the other three things. Obviously, it will fall in with the create options, but better tools for video editing within PlayStation. I think that's probably something they're working towards anyway, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
And then these are two very small things. The speedrunning community would love this: the ability to track your gameplay hours and your literal gameplay time as you're playing it.
I was wondering about that recently. I wanted to see how long I played Spider-Man, and I couldn't tell. Like
so
there was
it would be amazing that you could actually have speedrunning tools, so you could directly have the second the game starts, it starts your time.
What? Sorry?
It doesn't give the total amount of time when you.
Yeah, but not every game does it. Like I'm talking like Sony doesn't like Sony tracking it themselves. So like how you go through your trophies to see what you've done, it also says, "Hey, this is how much time you've played this game for."
Yeah, like on Steam they do that where it shows here's your game, this is the number of achievements, this is how many screenshots you have on it, and this is your total play hours. Yeah, like that the play hours for me has always been a big thing. I want to see how long I played it.
Because it would be nice to know when you finish a game how long it took you.
Yeah, 100%.
And then the last
Actually-
thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think one thing would be cool is with the create feature, if you just press the create and then maybe like triangle for screenshot, like something a quick shortcut like that would be very convenient.
That already exists again. If you hold down the share button, it automatically just clips it. You don't have to go into the menu. If you just hold down share, it just automatically screenshots it. You can actually set it to do whatever you want too. As far as I know, I think if you hold it down, like you can select if you hold it down if it does a screenshot or video.
I just don't think I played my PS4 enough that I should have.
No, you don't.
No, it's yeah.
Should do that thing we call research once in a while.
Maybe.
Yeah, because even the Switch has it like that, where if you press the screenshot button once, take screenshot, press and hold, it records the last 30 seconds of gameplay, and you can edit it, which is something you were saying.
Like you can sort of edit, but it's literally just clipping stuff out. Like there's nothing else you can do with it. I think they're gonna do a lot more.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's all I think.
And the last thing, and this is the tiniest fucking thing, the eject button does not need to be motion censored. Fuck off. Because if it breaks, it ejects on its own. Make it a fucking button. Either just make it an actual button, or don't make it a button, just make it something you do through the console.
Yeah.
Get rid of motion sensor
on the controller.
I do not understand the idea of motion sensor on console buttons. Stop. Because your cat can fucking turn off your console.
They changed that with the PS4 Slim, didn't they? I think they made it a button.
But like, I don't ever want to see a motion sensor on a controller on a console ever again.
It's a very sensitive button, but it's still just a button.
Yeah, and then what happens is it collects dust under there, and what happened is I literally had to rip out the rubber piece to it because it would keep fucking trying. Even though there's nothing in there, it would keep trying to eject.
Wow.
So it was annoying. So eventually I just had to rip the fucking piece of plastic out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I think they fixed that with the PS4 Slim or whatever the latest.
Well, if they did, keep it that way.
Yeah.
No more motion sensor bullshit. This isn't the fucking Kinect.
And that's the last thing we want. The Kinect for PS5.
Yeah, fuck that shit. But yeah, that's the gist of it. I mean, a lot of this stuff I don't think's coming, and a lot of it's just kind of wishful thinking. And just kind of, I hope that someday we get this. I stayed away from VR because I don't know anything about the PSVR to know what would be upgradable apart from make me less sick when I play it.
Yeah, it's just also not on my wish list yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's at that point where it's like, okay, I don't know enough. And we also stayed away from games too, guys, because like, just look how long the show is. And this was just us talking about like hardware and like things in the system. We didn't even talk about games we want announced.
Yeah, because if we're talking about Spider-Man 2, you all got to strap in for the next 2 more
I was going to
hours.
say maybe that's next week if we still have nothing going on.
Maybe.
It sounds like May's going to be dead the rest of the month, so maybe that's what we do next week if we
Yeah,
have
and June's
time
going to
for
be
it.
fucking packed for games.
June's going to be a fucking nightmare.
We got to get all this out now.
There's literally 1 week left of May though. So
well, then maybe next week's show is our game stuff.
Yeah.
It sounds like too like they're going to concentrate less on the third party stuff and more on their own shit because they probably saw what Microsoft did with theirs and went, "Oh, let's not do that."
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
So it sounds like they're focusing on what they have rather than what somebody else is starting to make.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it's kind of a mix. Hopefully they get all of theirs out and then they also do some third party stuff just to maybe even 2 separate reveals, I guess. I don't know.
I guess the last thing is I hope that V concept that people came up with, I hope that's the actual console because I want to watch people get so mad about it.
Would you be mad about it?
No. I think it looks fucking cool.
It looks like a PC.
Frank,
That's what it looks like.
I can make a meme of my name with that console.
There you go.
You could.
That's the thing. I actually would not want it to be like that because I think that would be a serious like design flaw and it would look weird next to all your other fucking boxes. But not then again, the fucking Xbox Series X looks like a fucking mini fridge. So what am I kidding?
That looks like a fucking PC tower. Like that is not even trying to not be.
That's the thing.
GameCube.
That's the thing. On my TV stand, that Xbox like console cannot fit in there unless it blocks the TV.
What? Yeah,
like,
no.
I would have to have like a small end table to put that fucking thing on.
We're getting a new TV eventually, so you'll be able to eventually.
Well, that's assuming that I have another fucking TV stand for it.
Yeah, it's the TV stand. You'd have to.
And
you'd have to wall mount that.
I know people. I don't trust myself to wall mount that shit. I don't even trust like the building to have it for it. So
Yeah,
I would
and
rather have a TV
hammer
stand.
and up the wall's
Especially
gone.
if I'm spending that kind of money, I'm putting this on a flat surface that I know will fucking hold it.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you considered prostitution?
Yes, and no one's buying apparently. So unfortunately, that doesn't work for me.
You're the one I saw on Craigslist.
Like I just don't have Chris's chiseled looks. I just don't.
I was born like this.
You were
I mean,
born
technically.
this
But
way.
otherwise, I think that's gonna do it. So like over 2 hours, and we finally got the shit done. It ended up taking longer than I thought, but then again, I should know better because this is us.
Yeah, if you thought this was going to be a short one, you're
you
silly
had the
for
longest
it.
list today, dude.
Well, yeah, but I figured we would have a shorter intro and not go on nearly as many tangents. What a stupid idea that was in my head.
Exactly.
Yeah, this should just be the tangent podcast filled with 3 tangents.
So
Who go on
it's the
tangents.
TTT podcast.
I like it. TTT.
Hashtag TTT. I'm sure that's already taken by something. Fuck.
It absolutely is.
Then again, we are called VCR, so I feel like that might have been taken at some point in history too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But with that being said, guys, I think that's going to put an end to this. So thank you so much for checking this show out. Obviously, if you are on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content, share it with all your friends, and comment below on all the things you thought about, including your PS5 wish lists. If you are on an audio device, obviously like us if you can, or, 5-star the fuck out of this show. 5 stars for 5 hours next time. That'll be the rule.
Bah. All right.
You're like, wait, we didn't agree to this.
When did I get signed up for that? Can it be a weekend, please?
For 5 hours.
Well, that'll be us talking about the Final Fantasy timeline.
Oh, the amount of times Vishal will have to go to the bathroom, it's going to be 6 hours.
Well, we're just not going to have him on the podcast. We'll just kick him off.
No, if we did a 5-hour one.
I'd have to go 2.5 times in 5 hours.
Or you could just not be a bitch. Ha!
That halftime is going to be interesting.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
We'll have Bruno Mars do the halftime for us.
What's a half? Like, do you just go behind the couch and go? Like, you don't go all the distance? You just...
I hope not.
I go the rest of the bathroom.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Well,
like
pissing aside, this has been the VCR Podcast. Thank you so much for going with the flow and listening to the show. So we will see you on the next edition, and maybe it's more game stuff for the PS5. Maybe it's just a bunch of crazy news stories that happen because you never goddamn know in this age of Summer Game Fest. So
yeah, who knows?
It's a mystery now. At least it's keeping us busy. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for checking us out, and we will see you on the next one. Take her easy.